Hello. Welcome to Rise of the Veiled Alliance, Tales from the Silt Expanse. I'm Chris. I'll be your dungeon master for this evening, afternoon, or morning, whenever you've decided to watch our delightful show. And let's dive in straight and meet the players, because last time they found themselves in a rather sticky situation. So, going around the table, why don't we start with you, Bree? Would you like to give us your name, your pronouns, your character's name, their pronouns, and maybe describe the situation that they find themselves in?
Yeah, so my name is Bree, and my pronouns are she, they, sorry. And Kita's pronouns are she, her. So right now, Kita is inside this giant hole of salt. And she is currently climbing out before these dangerous plants start, burning things. So that's what she's doing. It's a very stressful
that is a
situation,
fantastic
so.
description of this crazy situation we find ourselves in. So yeah, good. You're in a salt
It's like
hole.
the best way I can describe it. So yeah.
Meanwhile, outside the salt hole, Don, you want to describe what's happening outside the salt hole? And, of course, give your name, pronouns, character name, pronouns, etc.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Don. My pronouns are he, him, and I play Gulag, whose pronouns are he, him as well. Gulag is a half giant. He is really stripped down to his bare essentials for the most part to stay as cool as possible in this blistering heat on this sort of salt expanse that we find ourselves on. And so Gulag is wearing leather armor up to his midsection. He's got like these flowing pants on, and he's got his gigantic axe out. He's standing outside of this hole previously described, kind of starting to square off against, I guess, these burn flowers, which you were described as these sort of like, it's like obsidian, right? Is that how you describe the material?
Crystalline structures look a little bit like almost like a candelabra, this sort of beautiful plant, but whenever you brush against it, there's this faint tinkling as the leaves bash into each other, and they're clearly all made of some kind of like crystallized, maybe salt-like glass.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so he's starting to square off against this. I think the plant was described as starting to move as the sun was rising. And we know that the sun, when the sun meets this plant, bad things happen to anything in the general vicinity. So I'm sure
this is correct.
Cool.
Cool. Good. Thank you. Let's see, Cronqual, Myth, where are you in relation to all of this?
Hi, everybody. I'm Cord, or Mythomatic. I am playing Cronqual. My pronouns are he, him, and Cronquals are also he, him. I think we see what Cronqual is. I think he's covered in like dust because he was digging for a bit, and also salt crystals because he hasn't really done much besides just enjoy the view of this new area, the salt flats that are apparently very dangerous, which we are starting to see and realize. But as the sun is rising, I think Cronqual, I think he's running back. Oh no, he's lifting. He's pulling Kita out of the hole. As I think he rolled a pretty strong strength check. So right now he's a turtle, by the way. So he's using a lot of his weight and his training to pull out the rope and our friend in this salt hole. It's weird phrasing, but anyway, that's me, and that's where Cronqual is.
Lovely. And Kiana, where do we find you?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Kiana. My pronouns are she, they, and I play Rickus, the Tory rogue who uses they, them pronouns. Rickus was helping, which included pushing a barrel into the salt hole without securing the rope to anything. Super helpful. They're also very small, so I'm sure they'll be super helpful trying to move the barrel somewhere. And I think they're just noticing everything going on and freaking out a little bit and unsure what to do, which is the story of my life in and out of game in general.
Lovely, thank you. And Toby, where do we find Risa?
Hello, Chris, and thank you for Noticing I've had a haircut, I appreciate it. Rysar, who is a he, him, much like myself, Toby Osmond, at Toby Osmond on all social media, pulled the Rysar, as in saw danger, and left. So much like the Room of Snakes early on in Veiled Alliance, Rysar's just chilling out on the ship, like seeing if there's any sweets in the stores.
I'm gonna call it now. Are we saying that pulling a Rysar is now a turn of phrase that we can use? Is that a thing we can do? Are you giving us the freedom to do that?
Yeah, and the dictionary definition is doing something very intelligent. Pulling a Rysar.
Perfect.
Smart but cowardly. Pulling a Rysar. Yeah, that's what we'll do. That'll be great, that will. Good. Right, lovely. In which case, so, as described by our wonderful cast, they have found themselves in a bit of a salty situation. In the middle of the salt flats, this wide expanse of salt crystals growing into the ground on almost a flat surface, and desperate for water, them going very dehydrated by the amount of heat radiating off of these crystals all the day and the night, and have now found themselves digging in the salt next to these flowers, burn flowers, these flowers made almost of salt crystals themselves, trying to get to the pocket of water beneath the salt crust. But in doing so, unfortunately, appear to have misjudged their timings as the sun is now rising, and the sun, when it comes to burn flowers, leads to a hot combo. Lovely. So, the sun was just rising. There's a barrel in the hole. Keita's being dragged out of the hole by Kronqual. Rickus is helping. Gulag is nearby. You described yourself as putting yourself between the flowers and the rest of your party. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So Gulag sort of stepped in front of them between the flowers and them and just called over his shoulder, "Stay behind me until it passes."
What, the daylight?
Well, he doesn't know.
And Rysar's on board the ship doing a very careful peer over the edge, if I recall correctly.
Perfect.
Was the last thing we see Rysar going, nope, and just going back down again?
I mean, very careful. Yes.
Sure.
As soon as those laser beams start.
Sure. I will allow that you have... do you want to have partial cover or complete cover? If you have partial cover, that means you can still see what's going on.
Partial until I see the death rays beginning, and then...
Okay. Good.
And then
well...
Hang on, is there a periscope on this ship? I'm joking.
Why would there be a periscope on this ship, Toby? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so the as the sun begins to rise, as the sun is rising over the horizon, Keita, you are scrambling out of this hole, being dragged by Kronqual. Rickus, you are helping. And Gulag, as you turn towards the burn flower, as the sun rises and these rays of sunshine pour over the horizon, they start to impact ever so slightly on the burn flowers themselves. And as they do, where the light impacts the leaf, you can see the light disappear into the leaf, which starts to glow as the light clearly bounces around, refracting 1,000,000 times inside this leaf. And a beam of hot light scorches out of this leaf off into the middle distance. Just like a laser beam shooting out in a random direction, shoots away from all of you. And as you watch, as the sun rises, this beam slowly starts to move. And then another leaf is hit and another beam shoots out, which slowly starts to move. And these plants are all starting to get impacted by the sun, and more laser beams are shooting out in random directions from this burn flower. I think it's only fair that we start thinking about initiative, people, but let's make it active. Gulag, you are standing right next to this thing. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I think whatever idea Gulag has or had, it changes a little bit. His eyes go a little wide. He just sort of lets out Oh. He clears his throat and he strides forward and he just tries to position himself. He's looking for, as the beams are starting to shift around, whichever one looks like it might be heading in their direction.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking over his shoulder to those behind him as he is being pulled up out of the hole still, and he's trying to position himself so that he can intersect the beam if necessary and his allies.
Great. So as the sun is rising and all of these beams, there's now 4 different beams of light just shooting off in random directions, and they're moving quite quickly because of the angle on the leaf and the angle of the sun changing slowly, constantly. The angle of the beam of light is just constantly like a searchlight, just spinning ever so slightly, and the whole area around you is starting to, like where it hits the ground, there's pockmarks in the salt forming as crystals burst open, and this moves around all around you. Gulag, you are positioning yourself so you can intercept some of these beams. That probably seems like a wise idea. Rickus, you're right next to Gulag, seeing all this happen. What do you do?
Getting out of the way as fast as I can, probably.
Where are you getting out of the way? Because there are 3 burn flowers surrounding this hole, as described, and you could go back towards the ship, but there are burning rays circling and cutting into the ground everywhere.
Great. Ricketts hates
Great.
this. What's the situation with the barrels again? I can't remember what's going on there.
Someone threw down a barrel to put some water in it, which then got thrown into the hole without a rope attached to it, and is now just in the water in the hole.
I remember there was a mage hand pulling out situation from Cronquall.
That's right. That's right.
So,
with the rope.
I am pulling. I'm currently in mid pull of the rope with Kita attached to it.
And Kita, you don't have a barrel. It's just it got thrown at you. I think it got dropped into the hole, and you got very angry that someone threw a barrel at you, if I recall correctly, and you just left it there. Is that right?
I was just frustrated at the fact that it wasn't attached to anything. So I was like, what was the point?
What was the point of that? Very, very fair.
But we did manage to get a few barrels out, though, right?
I think we did get
Pretty
the
sure I
barrels out,
remember.
except for maybe one.
You were starting to. Let's say you got 2 barrels out. Why not? Good. Okay. In which case, those 2 barrels are out next to you. That's fine. Rickus, you could try and hide behind a barrel, maybe.
I mean, was I thinking about that? Yes. Are they closed anyway, like these barrels, or are they just open currently?
I think they're probably open. Yeah.
Okay, and no lids in sight?
No lids. No lids.
Great, that's fine.
No, this got way harder.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Rickus knows that they cannot push this. Yeah, Rickus knows they cannot push this thing, and it's not possible for them to do that. So I think that I think their plan right now is to just probably get out of dodge as much as they can, and they're going to try to dodge past the rays.
Going to try and dodge past the rays and run towards the ship, presumably?
Yeah.
Cool, lovely. Can you make me a dexterity saving throw as you run out of the range of the burn flowers and try and make your way towards the ship? What is your speed?
My speed is 30.
Okay, so if you use your entire action, you can get to the ship. There are ropes that Rysar climbed up, so you could start climbing up the outside, but you still have to get there first. So let's have a dex saving throw as you go.
Let's go. That's a 11. Not great.
Oh boy. You run, and as you do, one of these one of these beams of superheated sunlight just burns across your path, and you, spin out the way, run around. And as you spin out of the way of the beam and don't get bisected by it, good, you can feel as you run past it, the air around this beam, not even the beam itself, just the air around it is super hot. Burning hot, and you take 11 points of radiant damage as the heat around this is just singeing and searing and all over the place.
Who's taking that damage?
Kiana. Rickus. No, Kiana. Kiana personally is fine. Rickus is...
Hold on, I'm gonna reduce that damage.
Oh ho, how so?
Yeah. Hold on. Trying to figure out which of these things it does. It is not that one. It is this one. I roll a D10 as a reaction, augmented defenses, and
Is that you or anyone around you?
That's me or anybody around me. Anything, a creature I can see within 30 feet of me takes damage.
Incredible.
I can reduce it. So you
Perfectly
take
fine.
4 damage instead. So I rolled a 7.
Brilliant.
So I think
Rickus
what
only
happens
takes.
is, a kick of dust may happen. Maybe like I use the this telekinetic hands that I have, or the and I think maybe that scoops up some of the silt in front of you and throws it in the air, reducing the particles getting lost in the dust and the silt.
There's actually no silt or dust here. It's
sand.
all salt. So it's all salt at this point. So you're basically grabbing a sort of surface level ground down salt crystal and throwing it into the air. As the heat starts to impact you, Rickus, like the light seems to refract as a puff of salt crystals puff into the air and almost seem to absorb some of this light around you as they shatter, burn out, this very strange, almost like sparkler effect around you as you slide around and through this and manage to make your way to the side of the ship, ready to climb up, not being burned anywhere near as badly as you could have been. Cool. So, Rickus has reached the side of the ship and started to climb up the outside. Kronkwall, Keita, let's do this together. Kronkwall, you're pulling Keita out of the hole. Keita, you're being pulled out of the hole, and you can hear from above that shit's gone down. There's also a very distinct sort of like high-pitched, as these beams move, they have a sort of very high-pitched sort of noise as they go around. Perfect. So there's also definitely something going on. What would the two of you like to do? Because you are connected by the ropes. Yes. Let's do this together. Go ahead.
Entwined in fate.
Quick question about the beams. So since they are kind of related to heat, am I somewhat resistant to them, or are they still going to do damage?
You're resistant to fire damage, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so, yeah. That and heat damage.
This is radiant damage, so it's literally the beams of the sun reflected into a concentrated beam of sunlight.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. So I guess she's just gonna keep trying to find like grooves in the holes to like just power up.
Aren't we all? Right, so Kronkwall, as Keita is being pulled, are you pulling Keita out of the hole with your rope? You're just yanking, making sure she's out as fast as you can do. Perfect. As you pull and Keita, as you come out, you can have your movement from the top of the hole. What are you doing as you land on the top of this hole and look at this? Like, there's now 4 different beams sort of spiraling like a horrible, dangerous disco ball.
I'm gonna run. Just gonna start running.
Just gonna run. Yay. Yeah. Good. Right. So make me a dexterity saving throw. Are you running back towards the ship?
Yeah.
Cool.
23.
Whoa. Yeah, as you go, you skip out of the way. And these things are erratic. They have a sort of arc that they move through, and you can see that they seem to shoot away to quite an incredible distance. Like, the arcing beam of light like cuts into the ground near you, and then roughly 100 feet away, this like line just curves past you ridiculously quickly because it's moving so fast, because it's to do with light trajectory, not actual distance. And as it does, you're able to dive under one and spin around the other, and light as air, you manage to move your way through these 4 different beams and get to the side of the ship with Rickus ready to climb up and get the hell out of Dodge. Very lovely indeed. Kronkwall.
Sick.
Rogue shit.
Rogue.
I rogue shitted is what I did. Kronkwall, what are you doing?
Oh, I hate it when that happens. So how many barrels are nearby, and is there any of them left?
There are 2 water barrels, both of which are open.
And still sitting there, left. No one's grabbed.
Still sitting there. There is 1 barrel in the hole. I'm afraid that one is lost to the ages now. In times later, people will come by and go, "What is this barrel we have discovered here?"
It's a time capsule of salt and failed dreams. I'm going to go and grab one of the barrels, I guess. How large are they? Can I fit 2?
You are quite a hefty
Is the
turtle, as I
barrels?
recall. Yeah,
Yes,
so
maybe.
you could potentially pick up both barrels if you wanted to. It will reduce your speed significantly.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm a turtle. What is speed anyway? I will go ahead and.
Okay.
What would you like for the barrel grab?
You're
the
quite
barrel
a.
grab?
I mean, are you using your psionic abilities to balance yourself, to steady them, or is it all just big old chunky weight?
I think I'm gonna have to do chunky weight because if I use
Okay.
if I use any narrative doing that, then I can't help anybody not take damage next round. So I will.
Okay.
I
Well,
will
that-
try to.
in which case, can
Try
you
to
roll me
do
an
it
athletics
myself.
check? Athletics check to pick up both barrels.
16 plus math. 22.
Well, yeah, you just shoulder both, and you're now carrying both barrels on your
We must
shell,
go.
probably.
Oh, hello, Rickus. Sorry, we have to go.
Rickus was
Are you
behind
running
one of
as
them?
well? No, Rickus has gone to the ship. Rickus has run off. That's all
okay,
done.
okay.
Are you going to try and run back to the ship holding 2 full barrels of water?
Yes.
Lovely. You can't run as fast, and you also used your action to pick them up. So, Gulag, you watch as you're trying to block everyone. Kronkwall is very slowly moving his way forward. Like you can just see these beams just like it's almost like a beam razors just moving around him, and you can look at this from a second and go,
Like,
this is going to go badly. Now, Kronkwall, can you make me a dexterity saving throw with disadvantage because of the weight you are carrying?
Looking bad here. Oopsie. Well, it's going to be a 2 and then math. So that math is 1. So 3. I got a 3.
Math, though. A 3.
That math, though.
Now, Gulag, you were sort of holding an action to help someone, and you can see that Kronkwall is basically walking into a laser beam, like one of those laser beam gates in a Mission Impossible style movie,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
while carrying 2 ridiculously heavy things and taking no effort to try and stop himself from getting hit.
Probably
It's
walking
clearly
right
a
into it, yeah.
disaster. Yeah, it's clearly a disaster. What are you gonna do to save the day?
So Don, I know that this plan will not work, but Gulag doesn't know that yet. So Gulag believes that he has a plan.
Kronkwall's head.
And
Kronkwall's head is
Yeah, he's
probably
gonna-
partially in his shell.
I think there's a moment where he's watching, he's told everybody to stand behind him, and then they run past him, like, looks around, and sees him run off the ship, and then he sees Kronkwall like slowly with these 2 large barrels.
Hey,
And
behind
he
me.
just- boom, boom, and he's gonna step in front of Kronkwall. So if Kronkwall's getting hit, I know that this is a bad idea, but Gulag is gonna try to take that hit for Kronkwall.
Yes.
Because he holds his axe out in front of him like he's
Mhm.
doing something meaningful, and he braces himself, and he uses his reaction to cast Absorb Elements, which it does not
Does absorb
include
elements work on? Amazing. Cool. Right. I'm going to say that there's no dex save because you take the hit that Kronkwall would have taken. But as you sort of move in front, one of these beams, and they're about like 5 foot circular, like they're just like burning across. As one burns across, you just step in front and take the hit. And this,
I remember when Don
is
said, "Don't
going-
worry, I have a plan."
this is going to hurt a lot.
Maybe not.
22 points of radiant damage as this
12
beam
Points
Oh.
of radiant damage.
as this
salt
beam
up
sears
again.
across you. More salt kicks up and disrupts the beam, which splinters around you, and instead of this one beam just like burning straight through you and leaving a gulag shaped silhouette in the sand, what you end up with is like loads of tiny beams just crisscross all over you. Crisscross. And as they do, they like you can feel like welts forming under every single burn. It's a horrible amount of like singeing, burning pain from this concentrated beam of sunlight that's just cut across you. Kronkwall, you're fine.
Yes,
Yeah.
perfect.
and you couldn't absorb the element. You feel like this usually works. Like that's there's like a moment of, but this usually what happened? Like it's quite a big But yes, you take that hit.
All right.
10.
Yeah, maybe it like burns away like part of his really like very, very, he cares a lot about his facial hair, and it like carves through it, and he's got like these crisscross grates of like super sunburns, and he's just gritting his teeth and holding. I think his axe is probably like the metal, the handle is made out of bone, but the actual blade itself is a metal blade, so I imagine it's like glowing.
But like little lines glowing on it. Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
he
you
takes
take it. Yeah. Okay. Rysar, you're inside the ship looking out. You see all of this happening. What would you like to do?
So did Gulag actually move towards the ship, or just sort of like...
Yes. Gulag stepped towards the
Power
ship
Ranger?
about 10, 15 feet and intercepted one of these beams heading straight for Kronkwall, who I don't think has even noticed it's happened. I think that's fair.
No.
And how
I think his head is bobbing in and out of his shell every couple steps.
It's like Rysar on the ship. Is that... Ooh, I smell singed skin. How far away is everyone from the ship? Like roughly,
Rickus
within
and
total?
Keita are, they're below the ship, next to the ropes and things they can climb up very quickly to get back onto the ship. Gulag and Kronkwall are about 45 feet away from the ship, so it'll take them more than one turn, especially all this heavy lifting. The flowers are about 60 feet away from the ship.
I have two courses of action which I'm considering. One is Rysar using his exceptionally superior intelligence to try and predict where the beams will go, to call out
listening.
and help whoever it is. I say, go left, no, the other left.
I'm intrigued.
Or just
Okay.
being an idiot and going against all of his normal actions and climb down and try and help. But if I think the first one will help, I'm going to do that.
If you're looking over the edge to look and see where the beams are coming and being able to assist with your intelligence, which I will allow, I think that's a very nice use of that. I think that's very pleasant. Can you make me a dexterity saving throw with advantage as you have partial cover?
Okay. Right. Okay, instead of all that, I'll just duck. No, I'm joking. Dexterity save. Right.
Mm-hmm. No, please, take your time.
Didn't do anything. My pleasure. I'm rolling it. It's not doing anything. I'm just going to roll the d20.
Yeah, use a real dice, like
I'm
a
doing
human.
it. Right. 13 on the first dice, 8 on the second. 13 plus 2, so 15.
One of these beams does like burn up the side of the ship, and definitely sort of like you can see parts of the ship splintering as this beam, and you just go, oh no, and duck down quickly as it goes over the top and burns the deck behind you where the light is starting to singe out and spin around, and you manage to duck back up, and you can now give advice and help to be able to get people a better chance of getting back in one piece. From behind you, the captain goes, yeah, this is why we should be leaving. And looking at you, looking at the barrels, looking how long it's going to take, is going to take very careful aim and is going to shoot at one of the 3 burn flowers. 6 to hit. Yep. And that one. They pull one of these strange tube-looking devices off their back and aim very carefully and fire a ray of frost, psionic ray of frost from their gun, down and across, directly trying to hit one of the flowers. They do impact the flower, but instead of doing whatever they were trying to do to it, which you don't know, the beam disappears inside one of the leaves and then shoots out again at a random angle, missing everyone entirely, but shooting off into the sky like, ah, shit. And the captain just ducks down. They duck down off the captain's quarters again, trying to stay out of the way. Good. Right.
Find cover like a war movie.
Yeah, exactly. Gulag, Kronkwall, you are currently the furthest out, so in the line of fire almost directly. So let's start with you two. How do you want to handle this situation? There are more of these beams, and the sun is still rising, and more of these beams are coming out. And you can see that the area around these three flowers is now getting so crisscrossed with beams that there's basically this aura of radiant burning energy just slowly building and growing from the center of this space. It's coming quite close to you.
Is it Gulag?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Salt hole. Are the beams?
Salt hole.
Are any of the beams going down into the salt hole?
It's too bright to see.
Okay. And there were roots down there, correct?
There were roots down there, yes.
I don't know if this is a good idea, but I think
Go with your
is
gut.
like looking. Gulag's looking around, and he looks back with his sunburned face to Kronkwall, and he says, "Ship's never gonna make it out of here. Keep going." And
Could you
he
take one of these
turns and he
barrel-
runs
okay.
back towards the salt hole, and he's gonna try to jump down in there and just go to town on the roots.
Okay, we'll come back to that, you insane bastard. Good, right. Kronkwall, you are going to keep going, I presume, or if Gulag runs back, what are you going to do?
I think Kronkwall continues going forward. I think he thinks that Gulag is still there. Wait, did you just say you said keep going? You just told him that you were back. Okay, so yeah, I think he's gonna, then his head's gonna come out and then assess the situation. How does it look?
It is, where there were like 4 beams, there's now like 20
In front of me.
in front of you. And if you look behind you, the beams are so concentrated, and Gulag just run into this concentrated wall of radiant energy that's just slowly radiating out from this central point.
Okay, I feel like I'm seeing that from just over my shoulder, my shoulder. And then
Shoulder.
I think, yep, that's what it is now. And I think I'm just going to keep going and hope for the best. Oh, man, I can't reduce my own damage. That's the thing. So the shield probably would have been the best thing because I could have just kept doing that. This sucks.
Keita, Rickus,
will-
as Kronkwall turns to try and move forward, as Gulag literally runs back into certain death, what are the two of you going to do? If you see this behind you, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna go and try and take one of the barrels away from Kronkwall. So yeah.
Excellent.
Nice,
Rickus,
thank
what are
you.
you going to do?
Rickus knows they can't carry that shit.
I can barely carry it when it was empty.
Like I am looking at this with Rickus having a strong 10 in strength and going, nope.
I think that's more than Rysar, don't worry.
I think they're just going to be like starting to prepare for helping out as they can, like, you know, getting the ropes and like trying to get loops prepared for getting the barrels
Perfectly
up,
fine.
stuff
Absolutely,
like that.
no problem at all. You can start to prep for when the barrels get here. What's the wisest way to move forward? That is a cool thing to be doing. So you start prepping all of the when the barrel gets here, what do we do kind of thinking. In the meantime, Keita, you are running and dodging through these beams to get back to Kronkwall. Make a dexterity saving throw. Rysar, would you like to give Keita advantage on the dexterity saving throw?
Yes.
There you go.
Sweet.
Keita, you have advantage. Rysar, want to give me some of the
14.
lines you would say? 14, lovely.
Imagine if
What
he
are the
said
things you
no.
would
Oh,
say?
that would've been awkward.
Oh, it's definitely. Keita, left. No, the other left.
Oh no!
She's just like.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
It disappeared for a second, sorry.
Stay. Go.
Okay, to the 14.
Yeah.
You managed to dodge out the way of the actual beams themselves, but it is still hot. And as you run through the space, getting back to Kronkwall, you take... Ooh, I'm rolling well today. 7 points of radiant damage. That this whole area is now searing with this burning radiant light.
Do I see her?
Do you... Yes.
Did I act? I did just act, right? So that
You gave
refreshes me.
Gulag the reaction.
But I just went though, right?
You just
Going
went. Yeah, that's
forward.
fine. No problem.
Yeah, so that kind of refreshes. All right, I just rolled a 10 again, so you take 0.
Okay, Keita, as you're moving, the salt around you just puffs up again, and you manage to again avoid this damage entirely, which is lucky. Cool. You have joined Cronqual, and between the two of you, can I get a flat athletics roll from each of you, please?
Yes, you may. Ooh,
Thank you.
Gross. 11.
11?
7.
Oh no. 7. Okay. Between the two of you, this is easier than it would have been on your own, so you are managing to move them at a regular walking pace. So you manage to and move these barrels together, sort of balancing on each other almost, like whenever a Rysar's shouting, no, left, right, and you manage to sort of do this sort of strange chess move around these different beams as they swirl as you go. Cronco, you will still take the 2d10 fire radiant damage from this. That is... Ooh, that's a good roll again. 13 points of radiant damage.
Oh,
It's just sort of general searing radiance. None of the beams actually impact you as you're all sort of doing this delicate dance out of the way. You're still a good 15 feet from the edge of the boat, but you are now out of this like corona of radiance just growing out further and further. Bryce still giving advantage. That's still the same. Rickus is setting up for when the barrels get there. That's still the same. Okay, Gulag, you ran headfirst into the sun. And you are just running in and diving into the hole, yes?
Yeah, so I want to cast Zephyr Strike. So as he runs, he's picking up speed and his hair begins to whip back behind his head and there's air pushing and whipping around him. So I don't know if this is, again, he doesn't know if this is going to help or not, but in theory, it doesn't, but it makes him faster at the least.
It is the Gulag.
That's fine. So you
and so he's
running back.
He's going to try to dodge the beams as well as he can and then jump down into the hole, hoping that in the hole he has some cover and he can start to attack these things at their roots. Maybe if he takes out the roots, then that'll have some effect.
As you run back and run through, like, there's no more beams at the point you're running through. It's just all, like, the sun. You're running into literal, like, burning through you. There is no dex save for this because you are literally running into it. So as you run straight through it, you take another... Ooh, boy! 24 points of radiant damage.
If I'm running straight into it and he realizes that he's running straight into the wall, he is going to pop all of his good berries into his mouth as he's running.
Good berries as an action, yeah? It's good berries as an action to eat, isn't it?
Yeah, and so Zephyr Strike's a bonus action and good berries, I guess, would be an action. It doesn't specify, but that makes sense to me.
Sure. I'm going to say you pop them all into your mouth and just like desperately put them in your mouth and start chewing as you run into this and barrel roll just into the hole. You can't even see where you're going. It's too bright. You probably just fall in. And as you go, you fall. What did we say it was? A long way down, about 40 feet down, I think. But you have Zephyr Strikes, so that means a lot of this stuff is negated. I'm just going to do a couple. Can you roll me a dex save again?
Yeah. Yeah, 14.
Cool. You take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall straight down into the hole and manage to do a little combat roll, but you are landing splash in the water. Looking up, this sort of radiant above you, bits of it are cutting into the top of this hole and searing parts of the salt that weren't used to being seared by this heat. So parts of the top of the hole are crisping and breaking away and falling into the water around you, and the hole is getting wider and wider, and as it does, the beams get lower and lower. You don't have a huge amount of time. So you have fallen to the hole. You've taken 24 plus 4, so 28 points of damage, but you've healed 10 from your good berries. What's your current hit points, buddy? Buddy, old pal?
2. I'm at 2 hit points. That is correct.
Don, we don't have character art for next week.
Yeah, so like narratively, like I imagine like all of his hair burns away, which he's gonna be really mad about it if he survives.
Yes.
His entire body is just like glowing red. His teeth are like bright, like they probably whitened because of this. Like it's almost like burning away any of the bits of food or plaque that are on his teeth. And his face is like a wide grimace as he leaps down into the hole with a loud thump.
It is
tries to get
worst
his
sunburn.
bearings.
The worst sunburn you have ever had, all over. As you look around this space, the hole is breaking apart above you, and you've got maybe 10, 15 seconds before this whole thing starts to cave in. You can see these root structures that are growing down into the water, and they also have this strange crystalline quality to them. There's something about them where if you look at the way that they are formed, it's like the salt crystals grow into the plant itself and become part of it. You can see that all around you, but you have no more actions left. Rysar, you've just seen this happen. Do you want to keep shouting out advice, or have you got any other thoughts? You're muted, Toby.
I would like to. I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to. I would like to turn to the captain and say, "Can you help my friend?"
Well, I guess he's probably dead now. That's a shame. I liked him. Oh well. We should probably go.
Start. Is the ship? Are we at a? Is the side of the ship facing towards the?
Yeah, it's perpendicular.
So we're a really big target at the moment for the beams. The death
yeah, the
rays.
beams are crisscrossing the ship and starting to like burn different bits of it. The captain doesn't look too phased by this. If anything, it's a bit like, I have to fix that. But it's not like this is going to burn the ship down anytime soon. The spheroid, sort of like glowing sun energy, is slowly expanding, but not going to be quickly enough to like envelop the ship before too long. The captain is looking at you and going, we should probably go. Like, your friend's probably dead now.
Can I communicate with the ship?
Of course you can.
You just hear,
just in my mind, like,
oh, my size be mighty painful.
Yeah. Ship, can you help my friend?
Well, he's probably gone. It's all right, shame. I did like his personality and general demeanor. Maybe I'll bring him back later.
Sorry, say again. What?
Oh, the other passengers, I can bring them back.
Okay. I continue looking over the side, and if there's any way I can help with ropes or directing people to not get laser beamed, I will.
Those plants are not the hardiest. They're just hard to see now.
I can do nothing. I mean, Rysar could firebolt them. Just don't think it'll work.
Or it may be reflected.
I mean, Toby, the mother of invention is creativity, so,
Don't do that.
Anytime I take your advice on what my character should do, my character dies, Chris. So I'm going to duck and give directions.
Okay, fine. Your prerogative. That is also not fair, but okay. Right. So, duck and give directions. No. Right. Gulag will come back to you in the hole. Keita Kronkwall, you have about 15 feet left to go to move through the Death Ray Central, and this beam, this sort of like wall of beams is just expanding behind you, and more of them are firing out at random directions, and the whole side of the ship is getting crisscrossed with these sort of burns, scratches, and scars along the side. What would the two of you like to do? You can use your movement to get to the side of the ship. There'll be more dex saves to get to the side of the ship at this point. And Rickus is there to help get the barrels on board very quickly, but there is no sign of Gulag.
Okay, this is just a gut reaction. So I am going to turn to Kronkwall, be like, get these to the ship, and I'm gonna go after Gulag. Just don't ask any questions. I'm just gonna go.
Okay.
So, Keita's gonna run back to the hole, and she's gonna take some rope out of her little satchel piece, and she's gonna try and she turns around, she's like, shut up. And so she takes a rope out and she stands at the top of the hole. She knows she probably can't see Gulag because of how bright it is.
You can't see the hole.
Oh, I can't. Okay.
It's like being inside a radiant sun. It's all too bright. If you run in, if you tell me you run in, that's perfectly fine. Roll me a dex save.
Okay.
Do I not see Kita as she disappears into?
Kita is running straight in. Yeah, that's fine.
Do I still? Can I still see her at all?
Yes.
Okay, great, perfect. All right, go on as you were.
I got a 16.
As you step in, you realize that you're on fire, and not the kind of fire you can handle. It's worse than the fire you can handle, and you are definitely being singed and burned by the flames. There's no dex save for the running into the sun because you ran into the sun, but you managed to not fall in the hole if you don't want to fall in the hole. However, you do realize that you are now standing inside a radiant sphere that is really, really, really badly hurting you, and maybe falling in the hole wouldn't be such a bad idea. Your DM strongly advises.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna fall into the hole. I just had this idea of just falling into the hole, so I'm just gonna do it.
I mean, as you run in and as you try and grab your rope, you realize that the rope is being singed to pieces. It's barely holding up in this as you fall into the hole. Cronqual, you can reduce the damage I'm about to roll because you can make this sort of salt puff around Kita as she runs into the sun and reduce it. That's fine.
I also do have a spell that I can use to reduce some more damage, so...
Do you? What do you have?
7.
False life, so it can give me temporary hit points.
That's right, it can. Maybe that's a good thing to cast on your next turn. We'll come to that. You take 8, 13, 23 minus 7, so 16 points of damage as you run into this radiant sun and then fall into the hole. You rolled a 16, so I'll say you don't fall and hurt yourself. You just fall into the hole and land in the water next to Gulag. Gulag, as you land next to Gulag, now, Don did a wonderful job describing how this running through the radiant sun affected his character, his look. What's changed for Kita?
So, obviously, the molten part of her hands is going to start lighting up. However, it's going to kind of dull down. It's not going to glow like it usually does. And it's just going to start spreading all along her arms and her chest and her neck and even some of her face. Like the outer parts of her face is starting to become like this molten rock. And she's not used to this feeling because usually it just stays on her arms and everything. So she's just starting to feel herself kind of solidify a little bit. So she's freaking out. But
does that happen when you're exposed to heat?
Huh?
Does that happen when you're exposed to heat?
Yeah. Yep.
Sweet.
Wow,
Sweet.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Is it red and orange underneath, or is it yellow?
Yeah,
radiant?
it's like little lines, kind of like how you see the cracks in lava sometimes. That's kind of how it is, like all
with
around.
lava underneath, or radiant sun energy underneath now?
I would assume probably at this point, like radiant, like sun energy, and she's like, "Oh my god!"
Does it have a gold tinge? Yeah. I'm an angel. Yeah. Oh, good. Right. So you've got you land in the water next to Gulag, and Gulag, you're like, I guess I did this to myself, so I'm a death warrant. That's what happens. At least it's only me. No one else is going to get hit by this. In drops Kita right next to you.
Steam flies out of the floor.
Steam flying out as the water starts to evaporate all around you.
Hey, Kita.
This was
save the ship.
Bad idea, Gulag, okay? I swear to God. We don't make it out of here, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, that's fair. We ain't got much time. He turns around.
Cronqual, you were going to get back to the ship.
Yes, I think at this point, as he sees her disappear into the hole, he goes, "Oh no, okay," and then continues. He wanted to make sure that she was safe during that.
Sure.
I think I'm going to try to slosh. I have a barrel over my shoulder and one under my arm. I want to slosh this one on top of me to maybe reduce some of the damage if that happens, and then continue on.
You want to use the barrel to block the damage? You want to use the barrel?
Slosh some of the water on top of him. So it's like I potentially maybe have some refracting shield, or maybe potentially it has to burn the water before it burns me. I don't know. It's an idea.
Okay. Can you make me... You can move 15 feet with these two barrels, holding them by yourself, because I'm going to say the earlier athletics roll carries. I'm not a monster. So you can hold the two barrels and make your way to the side of the ship where Rickus is ready to accept these barrels and start using a very clever winch and pulley system that they just managed to make out of rope. We'll see how well that goes in a second. Roll me a dexterity save as...
Intricate hammock tied to a rope.
Roll me a dexterity save, Cronqual, as you move the barrels the last 15 feet back to the ship.
8.
Is that with advantage? Because I haven't directed anyone.
You directed Keita to not run into the sun, but I'm not going to be an asshole about it. You can direct Cronqual with advantage if you like.
That would be worse. I would take the 8.
Oh.
Tragic, that's what that is. Okay,
no,
good.
not that way. Oh, no, actually, yes, that way.
Oh, yes, I thank you. I will continue going forward.
As you move forward, one of these beams just cuts straight across you, just moves right across where you are. As it does, the barrel of water that you are holding above your head, you can feel it start to boil. Like it just instantly starts, and the water on your skin starts to boil as well. It is horrible, searing pain, and you take 10 points of burning salt water. You take 10 points of burning salt water damage, mixture of radiant and fire, and it's a lot of pain, but you manage to get these two barrels to the side of the ship. Awful skew. And
if I had
placing them
elements,
both down.
Would I be able to
If you
reduce
had
that
absorb
salt
elements.
water? Damn it. All right, I don't.
Yes, you would, because you covered yourself in water. Do you want to use absorb elements? Do you have
I don't
absorb
have it,
elements?
but that was just me checking.
I would have allowed a certain amount of reduction. Yeah, that's fine. So you managed to get to the side of the ship again, very horribly burned. I mean, where is your skin affected? Because the shell would cover most of you. So which parts of your skin are affected?
The shell is still a part of me, so I think that it would, like, if you, it's like you can. It's keratin, so I feel like if you were to like nick your finger on a blade, it wouldn't hurt or your fingernail, it would hurt, right? But it wouldn't do a lot of damage. But if you were to like touch a hot blade, which I've done before with my fingernail, I would feel it through it, and I feel like he still feels the damage. Yeah, like it's still searing as if it was a giant fingernail. It's that damage. So it's that hot heat that is really sensitive because it's really sensitive nerves underneath. That he is just, I think he's screaming. And while he does that, I'm going to cast Second Wind and try to invigorate myself to have a little bit more.
Yeah, you second wind yourself. It's your bonus action. No problem.
I second wind myself and scream.
Rickus, you had a clever trick that you were organizing to get these barrels up onto the ship.
Yeah, part of that is yelling at Saren to help. So, like, Saren's still on the ship. And so it's
Saren's up on the top deck,
screaming between the two terriers, yelling at each other.
Back and forthing wildly. Okay, in which case,
how much damage was that? Sorry, how much damage was that? Just a second ago?
10, wasn't it? Was it 10? I can't remember. 11, something like that.
Yeah, you said 10.
Yeah, thank you. Cool. In which case, Rickus, with advantage. What do you want to roll? Give me a skill check and an explanation of how you want to get these barrels onto the ship as quickly as possible.
I'm going to say this is sleight of hand. This is all complicated knot work. And this is something that they've also done in the past with getting in and out of shit and also doing jewelry. So they know how to do this.
Roll me this with advantage and let's see how good it is.
All right, let's go. Oh, thank God with advantage, that's a 23. Because the initial roll was a nat 1.
This is great.
What was the roll without a modifier?
Without a modifier, that's a 14. I have a +9 in sleight of hand, so.
Just getting a sense of how close to nat 20s we were. You tie these knots very, very quickly. You've been setting it up with Seren, and as you do, you just yell up now, and Seren pulls, and all of the weight is taken into a series of knots that pull up from underneath and pull these barrels very, very quickly up onto the deck. But you don't go with them. You're with Cronqual down there still. You don't manage to get up by yourself. But the 2 barrels of water are now on the ship, and only a couple of drops have been spilled. So there's 2 barrels of water that will need to be desalinated, but will be usable. So, hey, no one's getting exhausted from lack of water. Well done, everyone.
Yay! Except everyone else who's down in the hole.
We're still here, so.
On the plus side, the water will last you longer because there's only 3 of you left. This is, win-win.
That is true.
Yeah. Lovely. As you are getting up onto the side, Rysar, you're still helping directioning, because at this point, the only people down there are probably going to be able to get up by themselves and not be too adversely affected by this.
As it's all been going wronger and wronger, Rysar's been looking back at the captain and at the ship to think, like, are we going to need to get out of Dodge? And I think as he turns around on once, he notices the ballista, because we do have a ballista on ship.
You have many ballistas.
And I want to sprint, as in not sprint, I want to use 30 foot of action to walk to the ballista. And I want to try and make a cactus kebab.
Okay, so you can't see the burn flowers because they are inside this bright, searing, like miniature sun on the ground. But you can make an attack roll with disadvantage to try and hit one using your dexterity mod and the ballista.
Yeah,
I've got the number here. Just tell me what you roll with your dexterity mod added to it.
So using my so just do a dex.
D20 plus your dex, please.
With disadvantage, that's 12.
12. Okay.
With disadvantage.
The ballista bolt goes flying into the sun, and you hear a strange shattering noise. There's a loud sort of clanging and shattering around where you impacted inside there. Like a stained glass window falling in on itself. Can you roll? You don't need to roll me the damage. I do. Okay, so the ballista does... Too many tabs. The ballista does...
An amount of damage.
300
An amount of damage.
plus 200.
3d10. 3d10 plus 2. Roll me that.
Twenty-one.
21 points of damage.
Oh, that was 3d10 plus something.
Plus 2.
Did you say plus something? Oh, plus 2. 23.
As you fire into this radiant ball of energy, you do hear a sort of clanging, shattering noise, which Kita, Gulag, you hear from above you as well. And all 5 of you, including the rest of the ship, can see that this ball of light suddenly shrinks down quite quickly. So it just collapses in on itself a little bit. And one of these burn flowers has been shattered. Lovely. So inside the hole, Kita, Gulag, the amount of radiant energy pouring in from the top and like it's like a warm sun above you, but you're not being burned by it directly, diminishes slightly. What would you like to do?
So I'm gonna go ahead and cast False Life just to regain some grounding.
Okay.
So I gain back 9 temporary hit points.
Lovely. Gulag, what are you doing? Because that's an action from Kita.
And the Gulag's hair begins to whip around his... Oh, he doesn't have any hair. The air begins whip around his hairless head. cooling him, but he misses his hair already. I think Gulag probably like leaves his axe in the water for a second because there's water down here, right?
Yeah. If you look at your axe, the axe has been reshaped by the intense heat and then landing in the water, so it now has a much more sort of curved, sharp but slightly warped design to it. Won't affect anything about it apart from how friggin' cool it looks.
But it's also hard again. So
it is hard in the water again. That is correct.
You've tempered it.
Yeah. So he cools it and then he drags it with like what energy he has, and he starts to pick up speed again with Zephyr Strike.
Still active.
Describe for me, like, there's a couple of things that I'm
hang on. Don. Roll me a con save for Zephyr Strike. Oh, you cast it again.
Yeah, not. Yeah, use my bonus action to do that.
You've still got it cast from the last time. You could have had a con save running into the hot sun.
That's
to
true.
See what happened.
Yeah, let's see if I can make it.
I am magnanimous.
I got a 3, so
it faded.
I got a natural 1. Yeah.
A nat one's a nat one, Don. So you can cast it again if it's a bonus action. It's perfectly fine, and then use your action to what?
So I'm looking around at the bottom here, and Gulag is trying to decide between one of 2 courses of action. The root system down here, does he think if he could, like, is it so spread out that it would take him a while to cut through everything, or is there like a particular route that he thinks might be sort of crucial because it's larger?
There are 3 very solid root clusters that come down from the ceiling at various points and grow into this water cellar at various points. There are... One of them, you can see when you heard that massive shattering noise, one of the root sets like crumpled, and even broke into shards down here from underneath. So these things are clearly very much connected. Okay. By the way, the glass that you heard, the noise that you heard when the glass got shattered wasn't just like that's a glass thing shattering. There was like pressure behind the glass. As described last time when you cracked one of the leaves, they are like a glass nugget that's all the tensions being held in because of the way they were fired. So when they are cut, they explode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why he didn't attack the flowers directly. Okay.
I mean, you could have done. It would have been great.
I probably would have been in the exact same position I'm in right now.
Yeah,
still have your hair.
Yeah. Okay. And would you say that the root? So follow-up question: are the roots down here that same material?
Yes, they are darker and they have a more sort of condensed quality, and there is more of the like plant structure over the crystalline structure, but they're clearly connected. Yes.
Okay. And are there any like side tunnels down here in this salt hole? Is it just basically a pit?
Pit. Okay. Salt pit.
All right. So he's gonna stride, dragging his misshapen axe across the salt out of the water, and he's gonna go for first one of the roots, one of the ones that are still connected, I guess.
That's fine. Make me an attack roll.
I really want to forge Gulag's axe now. Warped axe.
This
warped
is
bone axe. It's pretty cool.
I may do it.
Roll 20 can't lie. It's a natural 20 on that attack roll.
Okay. Full on nat 20, just big old strike over the head. Roll me the damage on that.
Would be 46, 64, 74.
What?
Okay.
Wait, what?
You chop this root not just in half, but the strike that you hit, the angle just... You see this sort of movement up through the roots, and then all of them just uncoil and burst and up the entire plant is shattered and severed, as again the radiant energy grows down significantly as a second of these plants is shattered from the inside out. Gulag, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Do I get my second? Because of the shattering. Yeah.
Do you get your second attack? I will say, because I quite like the image of this, that I will give you your second attack, but you will take you have to make 2 dexterity saving throws, because that natural 20, it's like a bang, bang, you destroy both of the root clusters. But
Cool.
Go,
Is there
make a
wind
second
blowing
attack.
around you for a Zephyr Strike?
Yes, there is.
So some of the shards are just get caught in the windstorm. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Whipping around in the storm around him. Yeah. Okay. So for
Lacerate
his second
Gulag.
attack, is the other main roots? Are they like further away on a different section of the
No.
wall?
You can hit them both with 2. You're huge. You can hit them both with 2 strikes. That's absolutely fine. No problem.
Okay. Yeah, you only YOLO. 21
Yeah.
on the second attack.
You smash them both. Beautiful, gorgeous, quick strikes, and both of these root structures collapse in. Can you roll me the damage on the second one, please?
That one will only be 24.
It's enough. It's not quite the same beautiful, like, cascade up effect as you had earlier, but you do have that. You smash the root, and you do, as you do, there is a sort of crinkling, cracking noise from above you as the other burnflower above also shatters and dissipates. And all the people outside, all of this radiant, burning energy that's glowing out of these plants is gone. You can see just these shards of glass lying in about a 50-foot radius around this hole in the ground where all of these pieces have shattered out. Gulag, make me 2 dexterity saving throws.
Okay. Here's the first one. It's a 6.
Cool.
The second one's a 14.
The second one doesn't matter because you probably can't make it. Unless I roll 2 ones. I didn't. Yeah, you take 10 points of damage from the first one shattering and are lacerated and dropped to the ground. Keita, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, shit. An 8.
You take 7 points of slashing damage as the first one explodes around you. Gulag, you have managed to shatter both, and as the lacerations in glass cuts through, you do hit the second one and slump to the ground and immediately fail. Doesn't get it. 1 death saving throw as you collapse to the ground. The second one exploding around you. Keita, make me a second dexterity saving throw.
A 7.
You must have a better dex modifier than that for a saving throw, surely.
Oh no, it's 5. It's +5, but I got it 2. That's where we're at.
You take another 5 points of slashing damage as these glass roots just wind sweep all around you, cutting you very, very deep indeed.
And I don't see them.
No, you don't. No, they're in a hole in the
Okay,
ground.
great. Just double checking. Okay.
Okay. Gulag has a failed death save. Keita, you can see that Gulag, this mighty form, has collapsed in the bottom of the cave, burned, seared, and covered in tiny scars. And I think one probably nicked an artery in the side and is pumping arterial blood into this water that is slowly darkening around you as he is clearly dying. What would you like to do?
She's down there with him, right?
Yeah, both in the hole.
So I'm gonna do my best to take all the rope that I have. This is gonna be so stupid because I know she can't do this, but she's gonna like tie it around his waist as tightly as humanly possible, and she's gonna tie it around her own waist. She's gonna start climbing and try and lift him out of there.
Do you have like burning hands or anything? Can you like cauterize the wound? I could probably die. Never mind.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
I can do that. I can do that.
That would hurt Gulag. I wouldn't do that if I were you. What I will say,
How many
is if you
saving
want
throws
to,
has he failed?
Just one so far. If you want to make a medicine check to try and stabilize Gulag to stop the bleeding before you do this, you're more than welcome to.
That'd be great. Oh God, and
Let's
it's
start
not even
there.
that good. Okay, 15.
Cool.
So
You
yeah.
reach down to this pumping arterial wound in the neck and try and sort of hold your hands over it. Try and do something about your friend who is very clearly dying. You can make heat with your hands, yes? It's part of your lava genasiness. Looking down at your hands where this golden, searing, radiant light is still in them, as you place them over the wound, one hand touching on the side and the other, and you can feel some of this heat leaving your body, and the blood pumping around your fingers starts to slow slightly, and you press down and sear into it slightly, and you do manage to close the wound and stabilize your friend.
Okay.
Cronkle, Rickus, are you still tying the rope and trying to climb?
Yes.
Okay, we'll come back to that in a sec. Thank you. Cronkle, Rickus, you're by the side of the ship. You can see that all 3 burn flowers have been destroyed, and it's now just hot daylight on the salt flats. Are you going to try and go over to the hole and help, or are you trying to? What's the plan here?
So yeah, the lasers are gone.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Kronpol is, oh no, and I guess as soon as the lasers go away, he's gonna run as fast as he can over there. He was holding it back, but I think in that scream, he also was reminded of just a past that involved him losing people due to extreme heat. So he's going to try to do his best and run over there. And as he does, you hear him run off. I must protect.
Rickus, are you helping as well?
Yeah, I think Rickus at this point scurries along as well.
Great. Right, so you're still on the ballista. Are you staying up there? Are you going down to help?
I'd like to call up to the captain and say, do you have any medicines
Yeah,
or
why?
anything to help?
Oh, it's over. They're both dead.
I thought I was the optimist here.
Look, it's part of being a captain on the Silt Sea. You gotta learn to accept it. Sometimes people die.
Sure, could we go and have a look, please, Captain?
Yeah, sure, if you like. I mean, it's pointless, but I can.
You've
if
got
you like.
wings. I'll meet you there. Thanks. And I start climbing over the ship, and I'm not running. I'm just start sort of walking towards the hull with a feeling of dread.
Kita, make me an athletics check with disadvantage.
That's a 17. Like, I'm not even joking. On my life, it is a 17.
I believe you.
Yeah,
no need.
absolutely.
I trust Peter's life too. Not a
No,
problem.
this just never happened before with disadvantage for me. So.
On Gulag's life, I swear.
You start, you realize as you're doing this that if you fall, his wounds are going to open. He is barely clinging on to life, and you just start climbing, put all of your strength. And the Gulag's a half giant. Gulag weighs a ton, but you manage just hand over hand, pulling this ridiculously heavy body floating beneath you in the air. You manage to just slowly make your way up this wall. Kronkwall, Rickus, as you arrive, you look over the edge and see Kita still glowing with this radiant energy climbing up. And Kronkwall, Rickus, the ground around you is covered in these tiny shards of glass. I will say that you are able to step between them and avoid any cuts and lacerations, but it is definitely difficult terrain. But as you run to the edge, you can see Kita is climbing up, carrying... Does Gulag weigh 2,000 pounds?
I don't know if that's true. I just did a random internet search for how much...
2,000 pounds?
I mean, 12
I don't know if
feet.
the internet's lying.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
1 million.
2,000?
600 maybe? 500 maybe?
I mean, that's a crazy amount of pounds. Anyway, you are pulling you can see, you look down the hole, you can see Kita is just Ramboing up the outside, just getting up the outside of the hole, carrying Gulag out by herself incredibly. Anything with the two of you want to help this situation?
Yes. But I don't know how. The rope is back at the ship. I think.
Oh my god.
Yes, I don't know. I think what he's. You're doing great. Is there anything I could.
If you could hurry, that'd be great.
All right, I must be quick. And he runs off and he goes and tries to find something that he can. I think he scatterbrain in a panic runs around and looks for something. Tries to go to these plants to find a stalk, but they're all shattered. And if you're looking up and watching, he's just across the playing field randomly, and then he tries to make his way back over to the ship. Did you come out towards the hole, Rickus? Or is Rickus still
Rickus is with you.
Rickus is working?
Rickus, you're next to the hole looking down, and Crunkle's doing an I don't know what to do around you. Probably T-barring slightly and glitching into the landscape, you know.
T-posing.
Anything in particular you
but
want
he does
to
make
do,
his way
Rickus,
back over to try to find some rope.
I think Rickus has I'm not sure what they even have, but they're trying to push the glass shards away from the edge and kind of
that's great.
build a clearing. They're just trying their best. They don't know what they're doing.
Of course, that's grand. You start pushing the glass shards out of the way, start making a bit of space. That's a very wise thing to do. Risa, you are moving over, avoiding these glass shards. Anything you want to do to help? You're muted again, Toby. Just don't mute yourself.
That was me.
Hey, he's muted. I'm just so mad.
So angry.
Can I see that Kita is trying to pull Gulag out of the hole?
Yes, you can.
I would like to try and help with that, possibly using my intelligence. Like if I've got pitons or stakes or something, like hammering something in the ground.
Why would you have pitons? Are you a regular rock climber?
We're adventurers, Chris. We're adventurers.
Let's make our lives easy. I will say that you all managed to help Kita carry, because Kita rolled a ridiculous athletics check to manage to pull Kita and Gulag out of the hole. And as Gulag's massive body is picked up out of the hole and lain on the side, that's where we'll pick up after this break. See you soon, people.
Bye, Gulag.
And we're back. So, Rise of the Veiled Alliance, Tales from the Silt Expanse. My friends, you find yourselves on the outside of a hole full of salt water, surrounded by shards of glass, one giant unconscious body, and the four of you, plus your captain of the ship, friend, all arrayed around it, not quite sure what to do. What would you all like to do in this situation?
So, Gulag's now up on the.
Yep, everyone's out the hole.
All right. Oh no. And he bends over and he tries to grab his shoulders or something. You're not wearing a shirt, are you? I guess he grabs his arms and he just tries to drag him back to the ship as fast as he can.
Oh, hang on there. Hang on there. There's glass all over the floor. Let's be wise about this.
Okay, we're fine. And then he closes his eyes and he starts to push them with the telekinetic hand that he has behind him. He's
looking around all of you, the captain go, anyone got any healing of any kind?
That's, you said, I asked you if you had medicine. You said you did.
I do, but they're in short supply. So, anyone got any healing they can just do by themselves? Really?
Please use your
What kind of
medicine.
adventuring party are you? This is crazy. Who's got the heals? Someone must have the heals. Someone's always got the heals.
I think Ricketts points at Gulag.
That's a very good point, Ricketts. I think Gulag... What's Gulag got on him? Has he got any good berries? It's just mushed around his face.
You can probably still see it, like, caked around
jelly.
his mouth. All very...
Okay.
caramelized.
All right. I've got
Please.
3 of these, and I will happily give one to your friend. But let's be clear on this. I'm only going to have 2 of these. So let's work a little bit harder to keep your big, giant friend from running into stupid situations, okay? Everyone in agreement with me?
Okay.
Thank you.
Please use your medicine, Captain.
And takes a healing potion, pours it down your throat. I'm going to roll some d4s now. Actually, Don, you roll some d4s. Roll me 4d4 plus 4.
"13."
You have 13 hit points, and you regain consciousness.
Gulag's eyes kind of like flutter open and he spits up maybe a bit of the liquid, like just a little bit of the healing potion. And he holds up his left fist, which has been clenched, and like slowly his fingers like peel back, like his skin's like sticking together, and his fingers peel back from his palm. And in the center of his palm is the little ring that Rickus gave him. And he just sort of like weakly mumbles out, "I didn't want it to get burned."
It's seared into the flesh. It's, yeah. Okay.
It's a tiny circle. It's got huge hands.
All right, so he's fine. Well, good, everybody. Well, at least we got water now. That's good. I'm glad everyone helped out with the water. We can get all of it now. That's fantastic. I'm going to go back to the ship now and start the desalination process on what we've already got, but you're all fine to carry on here, right?
Yeah, I would like someone to help me move this. It's very heavy.
You're right, Gulag.
What are you carrying, Crunkle?
Well, I was trying to drag. I feel like he's still trying to drag him even though he woke up.
Gulag will slowly pat your shell with his other hand and say, "It's all right, friend.
I don't want you to overwork yourself," as he's dragging your burned body over sand.
over salt, over salt crystals.
So I don't want you to be.
Hold on. All right. And he slowly pushes up to his feet.
Oh, fine.
Hey, Kita, thank you.
And Kita's hair is gone. So she has like the. She looks like a rock right now, like a rock humanoid, and she's just like, no problem. It's fine.
You're the
Look
thing.
like me.
You're Ben Grimm right now?
Basically.
Cool.
I mean, honestly.
Hey, we'll do Fantastic Four before Marvel does it. Hooray. Cool. So the five of you can get back to the ship. You can also, you've got the last barrel here. You can climb down and get more water. If you get more barrels from the ship, you could now probably get 5 barrels worth of water if you want to take the time.
Yes, I think so. We'll have to rest.
While the sunlight is not as crazy burny like the plants were, it is still very hot and exhaustingly heated area, so you all are starting to feel the effects of another day on the salt flats already. And in Gulag, in your case, being out in the sun is awful because you have sunburn all over your entire body, and no hair or beard to protect yourself. Kita, this is fine for you. So between you, are you going to work on getting all of the water out? Are you going to get like 3 barrels? What's the plan?
Yes. What I'm going to get, we got 2 and there was 5? I feel like there was like 8 or something.
You could get more barrels. You could get all of the empty barrels on the ship, and you could probably fill a total of 6 barrels from this hole if you fill all of them.
Right.
We need as much water as we can take.
Yes, I think if we can fill them all, let's fill them all. I also think Kronqual throughout is probably going to... he has like a small pouch on his side that he carries very little things, or a little amount of things, but he's going to start taking some of these shards. Maybe as
looking at the
later,
shards of glass, they are like, you can see like some of the ones that didn't fully pop or explode. These are like rivulets that you find if glass is made in a glass blower's workshop. You get these rivulets of glass where the tension is completely held inside the glass as it melted, which means that if you do crack them in any way, they do pop, they do explode. So you've got a couple of these sort of little glass nodules, like almost like teardrops, that inside look like they're sort of curled in many strange ways. The light refracts very interestingly through them. Burnt flower glass.
How much do you think how many do you think I pick up?
How many do you want?
I'll roll a d20. 14 of them. Is that cool? 14
Okay.
shards?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you get 14 shards.
Sweet.
They're not like grenades. Like if you threw one, it would just like maybe 1d4 damage. Like we're not talking a lot here. Like, but yeah, they are pretty and they are very interesting. Gulag, are you helping with the retrieval of the water, or are you looking after yourself? What's the plan?
No, Gulag's gonna help. He will take the time to just sit down and try to, like, it hurts to absorb the sun, but it is something that he is used to doing, sort of photosynthesizing, and taking that energy and creating out of it more of these multicolored elemental infused berries. So he'll take just a few seconds to create some more of those and store them away.
Okay.
But then he'll man the rope, so that he can help waste up any of the barrels, even though it hurts.
I will say, therefore, that between the 5 of you, you can get these barrels onto the ship. As you get them back onto the ship, Kronqual, you notice in particular, as you're interested in this, the captain has set up on deck a series of what look like small fires, stills, a lot of glass equipment that connects to other glass equipment, and has all been very carefully created, and basically will be boiling the water that you bring up in like a small saucepan. And as that water is boiled, the liquid will condense, and as it condenses, it will condense on top of a funnel and then run down into another glass receptacle, into another barrel basically on the side, desalinating the water.
How about, because a fire on a ship is terrifying, what if there's like a mirror or something reflective that we have to tune with where the sun is?
No, it's a furnace.
It's terrifying. All right.
It's a small portable furnace. And if anything, the small portable furnace looks like there's something kind of, again, like most of the captain stuff, kind of gizmo-y about it. There's something about it that looks a bit like various sort of steampunky elements and weird splicings of metal, bone, and wood into this very strange small furnace that they're using.
Terrifying. All right. Interesting. I think for a while, Kwangwa studies it because I did have this idea. I had no idea how to do it. So I'm studying to see. Really understand it more than that? Probably not, but it is very exciting.
You're underwater.
Digest everything that happened. I'm underwater?
Oh, no, you're fine now. You were underwater for a second, but it's good.
Oh, I sounded like I was underwater? Oh, that's very weird. Hold on.
That's right, you're fine now. You were for a second. But yes, you are watching this pensively, and the captain, if the captain notices you watching, will come over and, you like it?
Yes, I was... Sorry, lost in a thought there. I was just... I thought of doing something like this, but I didn't know how to do it there. But I'm happy you have the apparatus here to do it.
Not my first time desalinating some water.
What?
Removing the salt. If you get desperate, you can do the same thing to sweat.
Oh, I don't sweat.
No, I don't either.
Well, I guess. Well, thank you. This is very... This saved the
You're more than
day.
welcome.
I'm going to go check on Gulag.
Yep, they have that weird conversation. Good. If you all help with this, the water will be brought onto the ship in the barrels and will then go through this process of being cleaned and made usable, and the ship will take off again and will start traveling across the salt again. The captain doesn't tell you that you're taking off, you just do. Once you're all on board and everything's been taken back on, you are taking off and flying off again. And you are still traveling over the salt. Anything in particular the five of you would like to do as you continue to travel over the salt, now into the, what is it, second, third day?
Gulag, how are you feeling?
You definitely find him now, unlike before, where I think he was on top of the, like he was up deck and like was hiding his head in a barrel to kind of try to keep out of the sun. He definitely goes down under deck now, which is very uncomfortable. Like he's like cramped into a corner, but at least he's, you know, out of the direct sunlight. He's just sort of like hanging there, cramped in a corner, sort of like hisses through his teeth. Had worse. I can't really remember when, but I'm sure.
I know it's painful. Both you and Kita have taken quite an amount of, well, energy and sunlight, but you do look very handsome with your new look.
As a similarly looking person smiles back at you.
He starts to feel around his head, like feel around his face, like very gingerly, because it probably hurts quite a bit, like to make contact. And then he realized, I think, for the first time, that he is completely hairless. And he just puts his
no eyebrows, which really hurts.
Oh, thanks, Kronkwall. I appreciate that.
Of course.
The thing that'll kill us is not having any water, so I guess it was worth it.
Yes. And it was... Would you like some water? There is some on the deck. I can go retrieve for you, if you like.
Maybe later. My tongue's a little swollen right now.
Oh, that could be due to the dehydration. I'm gonna get you some water.
All right. Thank you. Hey, let boss know that I'm down here and I think I'm gonna take a rest for a little while, maybe.
Maybe try to stay awake. I do know that it could be harmful if you were to rest in a state like this. I do know of some Terry who have passed in their rests after a long day in the sun. So be careful. Try to stay awake until I come back with that water.
Behind you, you hear a faint little beep, and Saren just. What do you mean? What?
Oh, I just be careful when you're out in the sun. I just don't
Why?
want you to perish from the heat.
I've never perished from heat in my life. What are you talking about?
That makes sense, yes.
Uh,
And I would prevent that from happening by staying rather not so much out in the sun and overwork
okay,
yourself.
good advice. Okay.
Yes. If there's anything
Saren's
on the
now
deck
not going to
with
go
the light,
outside ever again.
If you like anything, I can get it for you. I can get you some. Would you like some water as well?
Yeah.
Very well. I will be back. I must be quick.
4 hours later. What's everyone else doing while everyone else doing while Cronqual goes to get water?
I think Conkle probably passes Rickers, who's already like coming down with water. I think this is happening.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gulag's down there. Staren's down there, terrified of the outside.
Yeah, I think probably one of this is to go to their brother, and then the other is to Gulag, and we'll probably like just seat themselves right next to Gulag and just like hold out the water.
Oh, thank you. And he reaches his large hand down to take what I imagine is a much smaller container of water.
Like thimble.
It's whatever they could carry, as big as they could carry, which is not very big. But
I'm just imagining Rickers is there going, "Got you some water." Goes, "Thank you."
And he kind of like he sticks out his tongue and just kind of like wets his tongue with it. Puts it back down.
Are you doing okay? You were not doing so okay before. You look a little more okay.
Tell me the truth. Is it an improvement?
Is what an improvement?
How I look now.
Oh, absolutely.
I think there's an expression on Rickus's face where it's kind of like the "I've never had to think about this before" kind of thought. Just like I mean, you still look like you, so I don't know.
That's good. I think the turtle was just being nice to me. That's all right.
And for a second they kind of like tap it. You didn't have to protect that. It's had it been damaged at all?
It's kind of in my skin now. I kind of think it looks cool, I guess, but he shows the palm and like this ring that you made is like burned into the skin currently.
Have you given yourself an insert? Is that what you've done?
I hope it doesn't get infected.
Oh god.
Oh, I mean, I don't have any, but I have friends who have them, and A, very prone to infection, and B, why would you get one in the palm of your hand?
Right.
Jeez, okay. Insert in the palm of your hand.
I think Rickus kind of probably like very gingerly takes your hand to like look at it to get at a better angle.
That how big Gulag's hand is.
I'm glad I was able to save it. I think the things that we create, mean more than, I don't know. It's art, right? You made this.
I did, and this was, this was given to you as like a thank you for saving Saren. So, and it was kind of a gift of friendship. Usually, Saren says that you should give gifts to people you want to be friends with, because then you get on better sides of them. But also, I wanted to actually give this to you. So I guess if it's now stuck in your hand, that more permanent friends. Really friends.
He smiles. It's a grimacing smile, but there's a little yeah, I like that.
I can make you a replacement that's not stuck in you, because not a lot of people are gonna actually see it. It's kind of in you now. I think they just keep just going back and forth between holding your hand and gesturing at themselves.
Ow.
Hey, I mean, if you want to make me something else, I won't say no, but you don't have to.
I think there's a long moment where Rikus just kind of pauses. But I want to, so I'm gonna do it. Hold on. And they're just gonna go through their pouch, and probably pull out what looks like to be twine, but it's actually been marked out into measurements. It's their own little measurement tape. As they kind of just I think they just start wrapping around and measuring out probably your pinky, and actually marking out the size.
Oh, that's really clever.
I mean, get to know these things, and kind of holds it out, and it's not perfectly even. I think it's slightly lopsided on different sections. It works. Yeah. And kind of shoves it back into the
Sorry, kid. The way you were holding was there we go, pinky ring, sorted. The size differential's getting bigger and bigger the longer we go on.
No, just shoves the twine back into their pouch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll work on it tonight, and probably we'll have something together, maybe. But you should be resting, right? Resting's this thing that you do when you're trying to get better.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about it, to be honest. Cronkwall said I shouldn't rest, but I'm really tired. I think I'll just see what happens.
I mean, seeing what happens usually works out.
As for me so far, ow.
As the two of you continue to have your rather delicate, lovely conversation, Keita, Rysar, what are you up to at this point?
I'm standing off to the side, and I'm still just kind of shocked at the fact that I'm literally just transformed. It's almost just looking at a different creature, basically. Like all my hair is gone, and I'm just kind of off to the side and just trying not to lose my shit about it. Then I look up at Rysar. Why didn't you help?
Does that not hurt you? What? I did help. Oh, why did that not hurt you? Did it hurt you?
Rysar, you didn't help. Gulag
What?
almost died, and if you were down there with us in the beginning, things could have went a different way.
Yes, I could have died.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think that's helping unless you're here to kill me.
I understand the whole selfish act of trying to look after yourself. I completely understand. But I don't think you're
I don't follow.
processing the fact that your best friend almost died.
Best friend. Gulag.
Is that not what he is to you?
I don't really know you, Peter. I don't feel like I need to discuss who my besties are with
Kita,
you.
you are looking very handsome. And Rysar
Oh, hello,
Gulag is
Cronkwell.
downstairs, and he is awaiting your room, and I'm not sure. So sorry, carry on.
Thank you, Uncle. There's another friend of mine. So did that hurt? Are you immune to whatever those death rays were? Very intriguing.
Does it look like it felt good?
I have no idea. You've changed colours, it seems. It's very intriguing.
See, I don't really know you, Rysar, so I don't think it's best to discuss who I am with you.
Touche. Hey, Keita. Excellent. Excellent. Very good.
And she's going to turn around and she's going to just walk away.
Just getting a last look at the sort of weird changes in colour. So intriguing. Oh. And then I'm walking into my familiar, which is what I was about to do. And getting a streckalized view of the situation and seeing if there's anything around and about. And I find it quite meditative as well.
And just to clarify, you're completely defenseless when you're walking. You just stand there, eyes covered. Yep.
Well, I think you lose the sense that you're engaging in, I think. So if I'm going sight, then I would certainly go blind. Yeah.
Okay. Roll me a perception check with your Kastrekel.
Percepzione. $15. I haven't added anything for the Kastrekel.
The Kastrekel must have a perception modifier, Tony. What is it?
Yeah, probably, but I don't have a Kastrekel character sheet. It's probably fantastic. It's flying.
Okay, let's say it's +2. So with a 17, looking around, you can see from the Kastrekel eye view that the salt ahead of you is clearing. The silt is ahead of you, and you're going to be gliding off of the salt into the silt in probably the next couple of hours or so. You also swear on the horizon that you see what looks like a series of towers. Not quite sure what you're seeing. It looks like it looks partially like a city almost, but it doesn't. You don't recognize it.
Apparently, it's a 17 rather than a 15. Interesting. Okay. I'll do a bit of a loop. Probably have a little peek down at the captain's bit as well, because I like being nosy when I'm higher than the captain.
Cool. As you fly over the captain's bit and look down, the captain is looking up and around and occasionally takes out a spyglass and looks at the horizon, and you can see that they see the towers that you saw in Castrecal form, and so like and on their map take like they've drawn a sort of charted course, and then sort of just go and just rub it out and draw it again with a much different curve, and the ship is now moving, and on the map you can see they've got a point, and there's a marking on their map for where there's probably a city or something similar. You've seen this map before. It looks more like a collected series of elaborate guesswork over an actual knowledge or understanding of where you're going.
Is it the kind of thing where they are not entirely certain where we are, or it's more that they've put stuff on the map where they've heard it might be or where they think it is? Or
The latter, not the former.
Right, okay.
You can tell that this is not someone who's going, oh, fuck it, we're over here now. Like, it's very much someone going, this space is vast and expansive, and trying to gauge distance and trying to gauge location is very difficult when there's very few landmarks. So when a landmark does turn up, you get a better sense of where you are in relation to said landmark.
Okay. I think I'll bring the Castrecal to rest on one of the masts and then walk back into myself. Just contemplate the recent near loss of possibly my best friend. Not that I'm sharing that with anyone. And stare off into the middle distance.
Okay. Is anyone doing anything in particular? If you continue to head off, you will eventually, the long, slow grind that you got from the prow of the ship going across the salt will start to occasionally fade out into silt and then come in again in like sort of little bumps and fits and starts as the ship does head off the salt flats and starts moving more across the silt again.
How do we feel about a short rest?
You can... It'll take some time to travel any direction any given point now, so you could all be taking a longer rest if you wanted to. I think if we're talking about rests, once you get off the silt, you will, if you're all congregating below deck, maybe in the crew quarters, maybe all taking a second to short rest and have a breather, which might extend into a long one. The captain will walk in off the top deck if you're all in there. And, okay, so... got the lie of the land a little bit, and I wanted to run some stuff past you.
Yes.
So, we're currently coming off the salt flats, which is good, where we want to be. That's just quite right. We are quite close to Tarelon, which I'm a little concerned about, but I don't think we need to stop for repairs, and frankly, even if we did, I wouldn't want to. Are we all good to keep going? What do y'all think?
We heard of Tarelon?
Those who have travelled on the silt, so Rysart, not you, Kita, Gulag, Kronkwall. The three of you can roll me history checks if you like.
Ooh, I think I have a good history.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got an 18.
Oh, I don't. I lied. I have a
18,
3.
2, 3. Kita. Tarelon, the moment you hear the name, there is a small, like, shudder that goes down your spine. It's uncontrollable. Tarelon's a ghost town. Tarelon is a city. No one knows quite where from or how long it lasted for. But, I'm sorry, Toby, do you want to make a roll as well, as you have travelled on the silt? Is that what you're saying?
I like this ghosts and gulags had enough. Okay. Oh, I don't care. I haven't heard of the place.
Okay. Tarelon, yeah, it's a ghost town. It's somewhere that has been basically... Now, there's no ghosts there. It's just been abandoned. It's an old city that used to have a population, used to exist on an island on the silt, but over time, islands on the silt sink. Cities get swallowed up. And Tarelon got swallowed up by the silt. It used to be, even when you were aware of it, Kita, you used to be aware that it was a kind of like stopping off point, trading point, that sort of thing. but the last you heard of it is that it had gone bad. And not just like, oh, it was a place that was like, oh, it was bad. Like, people would go there as like a haven and then be murdered and have all their stuff taken. Like, it went from being like kind of a stopping off point into being probably an incredibly dangerous place. And anyone you would have known who traveled around these parts never came back.
Okay, so what do we think? Are we going to stop at Tarelon, or are we going to move?
Absolutely not. I don't think that's going to be a great idea.
Why
Yeah,
is
it's
that?
not great. Oh, there's some really not nice people who live there.
Oh, very well. I do wish to make a request, though. May we stop?
May you, but
Full stop.
stop where?
Here.
Stop where? You want to stop here? Why?
Yes. Well, I don't have any sort of way. Haven't had a bath in a while, and I need to get the salt off of my scales.
You bathe in the silt?
Well, yes.
Should I just... I can pull Daryl and get you some silt if you like.
Yes, well, that would be wonderful. Well, maybe after this, then. I'm sorry to hold this up. Maybe we don't have
No,
to
not at
stop
all.
the vessel.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll get you some silt. All yours, buddy.
Wonderful.
Okay.
It's a way smarter idea than stopping the vessel.
Never really harvested silt before, but each to their own. I get it. Right. Okay. Well, then let's do that. Thank you, Kronqual, for that insight. But otherwise, I think we should probably take a wide berth and start curving north. I think we've probably avoided the worst of our interlocutors. But yeah, we'll see if we can get back on the road.
What?
I just did an insight check to see if Kronqual is losing it. Because I've never heard of anyone bathing in silt. And I got
What was your
19,
insight roll?
So
19.
I got a 19.
He was
Bathing
genuine.
in silt. Yeah, bathing in silt would not
It's a
be
sand portal.
would not be a strange thing to do for creatures that come from and live on the silt. And you've known Kronqual for a long time. You've probably started to realize that Kronqual's got some strange connections out here. If anything, it reinforces in your mind that
Doesn't bathe.
Kronqual doesn't bathe. What you've probably started to realize is that Kronqual is quite connected to this space. If anything, your insight roll showcases that Kronqual's from out here. You've only ever known him in Balak, but this is Kronqual's, domain.
My mojo.
Or you could put it like that, which is far less, storytelling. But there you go.
Cool.
Is it your jam as well?
It was called a callback, I believe.
Sure.
Literary narrative device, which is wonderful storytelling, if I would say.
Yeah, fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, fine. All right, cool.
Well, Kronqual is
Yeah.
definitely...
Kronqual's what?
You roboted for a second. It was you, not us.
Definitely not losing it.
Good, fine. If you decide to take a wide berth of Tarelon, which is being recommended by the captain, then the ship, as you get off of the salt and onto the silt again, will take a very slow berth. And you can all see, if you look out to the starboards, right? Look out to starboard. You can see this. It's in the distance. It's miles away. But you can see this very eerie-looking city. It is eerily reminiscent of Balak. Lots and lots of very tall towers. But where the towers of Balak, you can see that they go into, the ground. These towers definitely come out of the silt. And in quite a few cases, it looks like there are other buildings that have been partially swallowed. It looks like this whole space sort of grows out of the silt in quite a strange way. And you can faintly hear in the distance a sort of hollow sound of wind rushing between these very tall towers. It's a bit eerie.
Gulag will just kind of like hover over, peering out through like, one of the portholes, and then like lean a little bit closer to Rysar and just say, hey boss. Boss.
Yes.
Something happens to me. Don't let him turn me into a ghost on this ship, okay? I don't want that.
I've already spoken to the ship about it.
Did you tell them that I wouldn't want to be a
Well,
ghost?
the ship suggested it to me. Bring you back. I reserved comment at the time.
Okay. Thanks.
That's not jumping any more holes, eh? Old jump.
We needed the water, We're gonna need more soon too. I'm the one
Wait, you haven't
drinking all of
finished it.
Well, not yet, but I gotta pull my weight,
That's £1,600.
He kind of grins a little bit at that, and he says, "You think I'm only 1,600? Hey, thanks."
Pure muscle. Probably less without the air.
Just on a slight angle.
That'll be a big, deep belly laugh from Gulag. And then he just kind of goes quiet and continues like watching through that porthole, that strange ghost city out on the horizon.
And I think after that, because Rysar was a bit miffed with Gulag going and almost getting himself killed, he'll then start to do the prestidigitation spell again and just do a little bit of cool gusts of breeze over the both of them.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's nice.
I've just realized what Gulag now looks like. Is anyone here a Legend of Korra fan? Gulag looks like Zahir. Gulag looks like the clean-shaven Zahir, which is a boss look.
Gulag's the boss, confirmed.
Google it if you need to. It's amazing. Anyway, so...
That's what I'm doing right now.
As your ship is gliding past Tarelon and curving to the north, you will have had a chance to long rest as you literally morning, beginning of the day, were here and long rested up until the point when it starts to get into early evening. So everyone click the long rest button.
Oh, yay.
Is there one on Roll20?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, well, it's been so long. I was like, all right, what does that do?
Okay.
But yes, you get everything back. And with that, as it gets into early evening, can everyone on the ship please make me a perception check?
I should probably roll a d20, not a d10.
A 16 from
5.
No.
16,
is the answer.
5, no.
8.
Oh, natural 20.
Oh.
Natural 20.
And a 16
Because
for
you-
me.
Natural 20 takes it, no problem. Cronqual, what are you doing as it gets into early evening? Are you still bringing water to people? Are you having a calm, quiet day? What's the plan, Batman?
I believe at this point he goes downstairs with 2 barrels of silt that he had harvested from the side of the boat with the captain.
Sarkix?
Sarkix, that's what I was going to say. And I then go into where his hammock is, or at least the corner of where he's been nestled his shell, and he just dumps the barrel on his face with this big smile, and just the silt, just powdered silt all over him. And he does it again with the second one, and then he starts to rub it on him. And trying to get rid of all of the crystals, and then he'll start rubbing it into like the creases of his shell and the webbings of his limbs, and then you start, if anybody's nearby or in a different room, they'll hear scraping, and if they were to go into the room, he would be on his back, or also rotating and then trying to get up like turtles do, and then flip around and then start pushing some of the silt onto his back and just having a bath as he's getting rid of all of the crystals and all of the gross oils that have been collecting on his scales in his body, and then he makes his way back up, as if like maybe with a piece of cloth, or the hide that's around his waist is now up and around his neck as if it was a towel, and then he just arrives up onto the deck covered in dust. And it's just, how is everyone's evening so far?
Where is everyone while Cronqual is having a bath? Splish Splash, he was taking a bath.
Silt Splash, taking a bath.
Silt Splash, taking a bath. Where's everyone else while Cronqual is asleep?
Silt Rash,
Go to sleep. Silt Rash? Gross. Yep. Right. What's everyone else doing while Cronqual silt rashes himself?
Is it now night time?
Early evening.
Early evening. I think we'll probably be taking watches, maybe, would we? Am I right?
Maybe, if you want to. I mean, the captain has given you no indication that watches are required.
Yeah, and look where that's got us.
You've not been attacked by anything yet. You walked into that burn flower.
Just the sun.
Ghost Kraken.
Ghost Kraken. That's fair. This Kraken. Anyway, good. So, Raisa, are you taking watch?
If no one else is.
Is anyone taking watch with Raisa?
Yes.
Perfect.
I think during a lot of that resting was him doing the bath.
Okay. So you and Raisa are both taking a watch. That's fine. Kita, Rickus, are you also having a rest, asleep, or are you doing anything else in particular?
I'm resting in the lower deck where the beds are. So I'm just
so
on one of the...
You're hammocked. And Rickus?
Rickus is probably working on that new piece of jewelry that they have taken upon themselves to make.
Lovely. It's the biggest ring you've ever made.
Probably in their hidey hole that they have made before. And... Making
a hoop ring the size of you. Good, yeah.
We're gonna keep fucking with the scale here.
Oh, it's gonna get What I want to get to the point is that you are like, in comparison to Gulag, if I'm Gulag's size, you are this.
Have a ring that can fit around the moon.
But yes, you are working on a waistband for you, and as you continue to work on this, Cronqual, you hear it first. Someone, like you hear a voice that shouts, "Woohoo!"
Anybody hear that?
Raisa, you didn't hear that.
Raisa, did you hear?
Yeah, what? Yeah, what?
Could have swore I heard woo hoo.
Like an owl?
Comes off the other side of the boat.
Ooh.
Raisa, you heard that one. It's closer.
Who that is?
Makes his way over to the side.
I heard that. I get away from the
Crunkle.
side of the ship.
You. So Cronkwall goes and takes a look, and Rysar goes, nope, and goes the other way. Fine.
I'm not sure what it is.
Cronkwall, you look over the side of the boat, and because you're on a nat 20, as you look out, you're not quite sure what you're seeing, but there are some dark shapes moving alongside. And as they move alongside, you see two humanoids riding what looks like a shark. Looking down at these humanoids, they have like strange goggles and masks that cover their entire face. And one looks up at you and just goes "Ah!" through the mask again and chucks a javelin at you. Right.
Hello.
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 Hello. That is a 21 to hit you.
That will hit me.
That is young. You take, wow, I'm rolling well today. You take 9 points of piercing damage as this spear just goes flying up and just bounces off you and jams itself into your shell weirdly. And you can shout, and Rysar, you can see this spear has hit. And looking over the side of the boat that you're on as well, Rysar, you now see 3 more of these, what look like sharks, which you wouldn't recognize in world, being ridden in all cases by these 2 figures that are zooming and going around the ship at great pace, coming directly towards all of you.
Can I use my
the spear sticking out of his shell?
Right, so Rysar, you see this spear sticking out of Cronkwall's. He turns and goes, oh no, and starts turning around, and you see on the other side more of these figures. What would you like to do?
Send a message in my mind to the ship to tell everyone we're being attacked. And
everyone, you are suddenly aware as you hear, I believe we're under attack, everybody. Yep.
Probably firebolt one, I reckon. Why not? The one
Sure.
who...
Are you going for the shark or the riders?
I want to go for a rider who is still holding a javelin.
Sure, no problem.
In fact, is there a rider holding a shark? Like, can I take out the rider and then the shark goes down with the rider with it, or...?
There is, on each shark, there is a shark, someone riding the shark, and the person who is chucking spears towards the ship, yes.
Yeah, so I want to go for a rider of one where the person on the back still has a javelin, even though they may have unlimited. No.
Make me an attack roll.
I don't usually do this. I think this is like my second firebolt ever. 26.
Yeah, you fire off a firebolt and manage to wing the person currently riding in on one of the sharks, and you can't see their face because it's all covered, like everything's like very Mad Max style stylings with like big old like face coverings and goggles, but you do hear sort of "Arr!" as the person gets hit by the fireball. Roll me the damage on it, please.
17.
Nice. The person like holds their midriff, and the shark does sort of slow but still sort of like manages to move around and move forward and is now coming back again, but the person is very, very badly hurt. Kita, Gulag, Rikis, you were all awoken by the ship going, I think we got a problem. What would you all like to do?
I'm going to immediately go to the upper deck.
Mm-hmm. You move up to the upper deck, and you can see Cronkwall is holding a spear that is sort of half wedged in himself, and Rysar is also currently firing firebolts off one side of the ship quite violently.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna try. Well, are any of the ballistas available?
Yeah, there's one at the back of the ship, and there's the entire ballista deck below, where there are 4 that face out in different directions.
Amazing. I'm gonna go to the one that's at the back of the ship. I went to it before on the upper.
Yeah, the one at the back. Cool. If you leap onto the one at the back and look out, you can see these. There are 5 of them total. These 5 different figures, all on these. There are 10 figures on the back of 5 sharks, all swimming around, getting very, very close to you, leaping very quickly through the silt. They are faster than the ship, and the ship is very, very fast. So that's a impressive feat.
So I think I'm gonna go for the shark that's the closest to the ship.
No problem. Take a shot.
This is awesome.
So use your Dex modifier to make the attack roll to shoot at the shark, and tell me what you roll, because I'll add all of the stuff on for this.
Okay. That's a 17.
Yeah, you definitely hit the shark. It's a +4 from the ballista. So yeah, you fire off a shot with the ballista, and the first shark just goes into the silt almost and digs into the shark quite deeply. Roll me the damage. This is 3d10 plus 2.
Ooh. Okay. That's 19 damage.
Yeah, the shark, like, it takes the ballista and it like is in the side in one of its almost gills, although it looks like it doesn't have gills because it doesn't swim and doesn't go through water. It looks like it's sort of strange, like, serrated flaps along the side that almost like they've got a mesh on them, and maybe it can draw air through the silt, which is quite interesting. But yes, you managed to hit it in the side, and it's definitely slowing and moving back slightly, taking quite a serious hit from it. Lovely. As you run on the back and as you jump onto the ballista, 3 more of these riders will be throwing their javelins towards you on the back of the ship as they go up. As you go up there, giving you partial cover with the ballista itself. The ballista can take damage as well, just FYI. So we have 17, 15, and a 19. I'm rolling very well today. What is your AC?
12.
12. You wearing armor?
Nope.
Do you have your dex modifier is +2 and you're a rogue?
It's +5.
So your armor class should be 15.
That's awkward. Okay. Okay. So I guess my armor class is 15.
Cool.
Nice.
Do you not get any like specific armor for being a lava genasi? Do you not get like natural armor or something like that?
It didn't give me anything. Nope.
Nope. Okay. Well, then in which case your AC is 15 because you're not wearing armor. So yeah, you get partial cover from the ballista. So all 3 of these javelins, like, hammer into the deck around you. One of which actually hits the ballista and jams it slightly, but you are still on it and not been hit by anything in particular at this point. Lovely. Okay, so that's Keita. Rickus, Gulag, what are you doing? Feel free to jump in.
Rickus is probably getting up and grabbing their brother and heading to the ballistas that they were at before with the
yeah, sure.
The
no problem. You and Seren both leap onto the ballistas. Are you also taking shots at these creatures as they swim around and past?
Yup.
Great. Make me an attack roll for yourself. I'll make one for Seren. Again, just a dexterity mod on the d20. Seren misses entirely.
Great.
I rolled
Love
2.
that. 13. Not great.
Are you aiming for a rider or for a shark?
For a shark.
For a shark. Yep, sharks have an AC of 12. You're fine. You managed to fire one of the ballista out and hit another one of the sharks. So 2 of these sharks have now been hit, and one of the riders is very, very badly hurt, who's doing the speeding, which is all fine. Rickus, roll me the damage on that. There's 3d10 plus 2.
3d10 plus 2. Nope, that's not a plus. 23.
Lovely. And a second shark also takes a very definite, very solid hit from that. Excellent stuff all round. Gulag, what are you doing?
He's a little slower, probably like following the others up, like, oh, great, what now? Slowly, like, squeezes his way up onto deck. Maybe in time, I imagine, to see the ballistas go and hit a couple of these sharks and looking around.
Yeah, definitely.
He has to make a choice really quick. Are there any, like, I don't know, are there any, like, loose canvases or anything on deck right now that he could grab?
Sure.
Yeah, so he's going to grab something like a loose canvas and, you know, try to, if there's a piece of rope, like tie a rope to it real quick. And his goal is to ball it up and throw it directed at one or two of the riders and see if he can maybe like cover them up, knock them off.
Sure.
Blind
Great.
them.
Can you make me an attack roll with your dexterity and say proficiency?
I have a half giant boulder toss thing that allows me to do it as if it were strength.
Yeah, fine. Fine. Boulder toss, some balled up cloth. That's fine. Why not?
Oh, boulder toss.
Oh, boulder toss.
Let's do this. 22.
Boulder toss. 22. Yeah, you just... And this cloth, as it flies through, just unravels, and one of the sharks where the riders haven't been hit and the sharks haven't been hit, just look up and just... Ah! And there's this, like, shout from under the mask, and then just... This cloth just covers both of them. They're not knocked off by the effect of it because it doesn't do any damage, but they are sort of like going off in a random direction for a second, not quite sure what's going on. And from inside you hear... Lovely. Cronkwell, you just got hit by a spear, so is there anything you want to do in particular?
Yes. In Cronqual fashion, he usually waits to be attacked and then attacks. So now Cronqual goes, "Arr!" And he like looks at everybody, and then he grabs the spear, and then he slams it against the railing of the ship to snap it. And then he snaps it and then rolls off the edge, hoping to land on the shark below.
Okay. Can you make
the splintered stick pointing downward at the shark?
Are you making yourself a living projectile?
Snap. Yes, 100%.
That is very boss, and I like it very much. Can you please make me an attack roll using your... You've got like a quarterstaff stat. Use that.
What if Gulag throws me? Okay, yeah, let me try it.
That's a fastball special. That's a genuine thing. We can work that.
But we'll workshop that one, because that could be fun.
We can build it. We have the technology.
Yeah, I will just shell and you throw me. You're going to have to toss me. I will...
Don't burn all the good lines before you had a chance to use them.
Crap, you're right. 24.
Okay. You snap and then just fall straight out. Are you aiming to impale the shark or one of the riders? The shark. Okay.
The shark.
Can you please roll me your damage and add me 3d6?
I'm 1,600 pounds. What about that? 3d6.
So Gulag can throw you because you weigh the same.
12.
12 points of damage. You just land on this, and the two riders just, they're completely surprised by you landing. You just land on the front of this shark, which is now just swinging its head around wildly. Yeah, plus 3d6.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me actually continue let me roll the actual damage. So that's 12. Oh. And then... so that's 18 total.
18 total. Yeah, you're on the head of this shark, and you're on top of it, not like in its mouth. So it is just veering its head around wildly, and the riders on top are sort of like leaning forward. The one with the spear's like, trying to knock you off the front, but not achieving very much. And that one is also going off in a random direction. You've managed to get two of these like out of it for now, but Cronkwall, you're also going off at a random direction. Rysar, we're back to you, I think. You firebolted one. Is there anything in particular you want to do at this point? You're muted again, Toby. I mean...
Looking at the... No, I'm not. I was miming. Looking at the everyone getting on the ballistas. I'm like, how do I keep getting there? And is there
There
another
are more
ballista I
ballistas
can...
below deck. Yeah, there are loads below deck, yeah.
Okay, and is there one that will be facing where the enemies are?
Yes.
I want to get to one and shoot one if I can.
Cool. As you run below deck and as you run into the crew quarters, looking ahead of you, it's abandoned at the moment. Everyone's out doing something or involved in something else. And you swear for a second you see something, what looks like the end of a serpentine tail, flick as it came in through a window? Not quite sure.
I am... Can I speak to the ship? This
Of course you
time?
can.
Ship, I just saw something come on board. Can you sense it?
It has to commune with me first.
Right, tiptoeing back up the way I came.
Do you look into the room and look at the space where you saw this tail?
Yeah, if I can.
Because you're looking. Cool. Roll
Yeah.
me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Is a... Oh, I haven't added my thing. I was trying to be faster.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, minus one thing.
Good.
Yeah, so that's a 2. 2 good? Didn't want a 3.
Wow. Okay. If the saving throw fails by 5 or more, the creature is instantly petrified. You, looking into this space, catch sight of 2 green glowing eyes, and as you do, you suddenly feel yourself stiffen, tighten up, and you're like, this is weird, this is a strange feeling, what? And Rysar turns to stone.
Perfect.
I've always wanted a statue of me.
Wow.
Oh no.
Okay, that is a...
Can I be in a comedy sort of like tiptoeing back up but sort of curious looking?
And also realizing that you're being petrified. It's also a realizing you're being petrified look as well. Toby, can you give us that look and then hold it for the next 10, 15 minutes or so? Perfect. Thank you. Now don't move.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, excellent. Very good. What the hell, Toby? You failed after like 2 seconds. It was terrible. Can we freeze his camera cord? Let's just freeze his camera. Come on.
Yeah, I'll drop his call.
Everyone stop laughing. Stop laughing.
Right. As Rysar goes back below deck, none of the ship doesn't say anything. None of you notice anything. What you do notice is that Gulag, the one that you threw the ball of cloth at, is veering off in a random direction. Kronkwall, the one that you are on, is also veering off in a random direction. Kita, Rikis, you're on Ballista. You can see this. The other 3 are currently curling, and you hear a shout. You're not quite sure where the shout comes from. It's a very strange noise. It sounds like it almost came from the back of the ship. And what you hear is a kind of... Ah! And suddenly all of them turn, and they all start veering off and turning away. And as they do, they curl back and curl out into the silt. And you can see they're heading back south from you. And you can just about still see the towers of Tarelon behind you. Gulag, the one that you have thrown a ball over, is going to hear that, and they're going to try and sort their shit out, but they're currently just like spiraling off in a random direction, not quite sure where they're going. Kronkwall, the one that you are currently on this shark with 2 figures on, and one is going to try and prod you with a spear to try and knock you off, because you are not supposed to be there, and they are upset about it.
Fair.
That is a 14 to hit you.
Does not hit me.
Bonk, bonk, like just bouncing off the shell. Is desperately using a javelin to try and knock you off the front. The shark's going to try to shake you off with an athletics check. It's a 4. No, you are just like you're just hanging on and just being thrown around as these two figures desperately try and knock you off the shark. What do you want to do?
They're trying to throw me. So the shark is still just veering off, trying to knock me off, and this guy's also trying to do the same thing. I will.
The rider is currently sort of not quite sure what to do. It is trying to get bearings and try and turn, but can't really because you're on the front of the shark and you can't quite control it.
Yeah, the broken and I'm also a huge obstacle to look around. There's a giant quarterstaff. Or I'm sorry, like spear now stuck in the.
You have speared into the shark. Yes.
Great. I'm going to use that to then stand up and use that to then try to kick them off, but using it as if it was a stationary pole. So just go and then just try to kick the rider off.
You're going to clothesline them with a spear that's currently half stuck in you.
No. It's stuck in them. It's stuck in the shark, right?
Oh,
I snapped it out of me. I snapped it out of me, and then I used it to impale the shark, and now I'm using that stationary pole that's now sticking out of the head of the shark as a sweet parkour flagpole kick thing.
Oh, you're going to flagpole it like a pole, like a pole vault, and use it to spin around and knock them off. Brilliant.
Exactly.
Okay, make me. You're not trying to attack the rider. You're trying to shove them. So make me a shove attack. So that's an grapple. So athletics for you.
Wonderful. It's a 13. Could have been better. 13.
I rolled a 12. So yeah, you can push them 10 feet. So yeah, you spin around and the rider just looks up at you with these gigantic feet and just gets thrown off the shark and just goes flying into the silt. And because of the way that silt works, they just land in the silt, just disappear.
Yeah.
You get a faint you get a muffled Wilhelm. But they are gone. The other figure on the back is going to try and attack you again because this is some bullshit, according to them. Very much so.
How close are they together?
Oh, there are two of them, but they were still 5 feet apart because distance and things. That's a non-nat 20 to hit you with the spear, the javelin.
That's what it hit me.
Oh, that's terrible. You take another 3 points of piercing damage.
Check something here. I may be able to. Oh wait, I may have an extra attack actually. No, I don't. Do
you have extra attack?
I could snap. I could probably bite somebody, but I
believe you have extra attack, which you can use to do a second grapple. So you could potentially do a second shove by spinning around and hitting this person again. I will say the spear grazes you as you go again, but yeah, make another shove. Go for it.
I'll do that. Yeah. This one is not nearly as cool. This was a 9.
This one is worse. 9. I got a 4. I think, let's just be honest. It looks super cool in your mind, but the first one was a super cool, like, spin kick. Second one is more of a, like, it's a bundle. It's a... and then this is sort of rolling around, and finally the figure just is bouncing off the back of the shark and is just gone. This shark is still, by the way, like, all of you who are on Ballista can see this, and you can see it too. This shark is just... It's miles away, just like veering wildly. You're like the one where you blinded them. They've cleared the blinding canvas, and they have turned off, and they are also circling back south away. The only one you can now see clearly is the one that Kronqual is on by himself. Kronqual, what are you going to do with this shark?
Is it my turn again?
Oh, unless other people want to shoot ballistas at your shark, yeah.
Okay.
Rickis, do you want to shoot ballistas
at my shark? My shark?
Keita, do you want to shoot Kronqual's shark?
We're shooting that shark.
Okay, make me attack rolls against the only thing keeping Kronqual out of the silt. Why not? Why not? That's a fantastic idea.
I mean, to their defense, they did hear probably hours before that Kronqual's from the silt, so they're probably like, probably fine.
My roll literally said, "What's a shark?" I got a nat 1. I don't know what a shark is.
What shark?
I think you turn to shoot the shark and go, well, I could shoot the shark, I could shoot Kronqual, I could shoot the shark, I could shoot Kronqual. Oh god, and you fire and you realize it's gonna hit Cronkwall. Roll me 3d10 plus 2.
Oh no!
What? No!
Well, that one's a 4.
Yeah.
I will hold off on rolling until this plays out.
Yeah, I would like to abstain courteously.
This is even worse than those burn flowers.
Great. This is wonderful.
15 damage. Oh
15
my
damage, Cronkwall.
Hit.
As you manage to bundle this person in your back of the shark going, I did it! This is woo! And suddenly a ballista bolt out of nowhere just hits you real hard in the side.
Does it take me off
Because
of
you see this happen.
Does it take me off of the...
I'm not going to be... I think, yeah, let's make our lives easy. You just woo! And go flying off the shark and into the silt.
I don't know if that's worse. I think that's worse. Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay.
Peter,
how
did you
is that-
fire a ballista bolt with a grappling hook, perchance?
Oh no! Don't do that. I don't know if I can. All right, maybe I can. Maybe I'll be fine.
Peter, did you happen to shoot Cronkwall with a ballista bolt with a rope attached to it, perchance?
Oh, wait, maybe. Hold on. Now that I remember, there's a rope attached to it.
Is there a rope attached to it?
The whole time.
I mean, heaven forfend! What a surprise! So, Cronkwall, you find yourself once again being dragged behind the ship on a rope that is currently sticking out of a ballista bolt that's in your midriff. It's not pleasant.
Yeah, it's like the other side. Oh.
The ship will slow.
It's in the shell.
All right.
The ship slow down and will sink down into the silt as it slows and stops. As it slows and stops, you all hear in your head, I don't know quite how to tell you all this, but one of you's gone missing. Can't feel you all anymore. And as Cronkwall is pulled back up on deck, and as you all look around, there is no sign of Rysar. There is no petrified statue on the stairs. You can't find him anywhere. And you can still hear a faint on the wind as you look back and see most of these sharks returning to Tarelon. And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I did want a wizard's tower in that place. I just didn't realize I'd be a garden ornament.
I do it.
For one.
Permanent exhibition now. That's what it is. Oh, Rysar. A statue.
I think
Well,
from behind I probably look like I'm really doing a cool wizard spell, and then you look in front and it's just this.
Is it like Michelangelo's David, where if you look at it face on, it actually looks terrified? He's genuinely terrified, but if you look at it from the ground up, he looks very noble and very regal. It's a very clever trick of
100%.
Michelangelo.
That is it, 100%. Yeah.
Right. Well then, Rysar looks like Michelangelo's David if you look from the ground up, but otherwise this looks terrified. That's good. That's what we have now permanently. That's the way it's going to be forever.
Am I a ghost now? Can I be a ghost on the ship?
No, you're not dead. You're just petrified.
Just gonna hang around.
Anything will change. You'll stay on the ship.
Ooh.
As long as you
Nothing
promise
would
to
change.
haunt Gulag, I am fine with you staying on the ship. Anyway, so we find ourselves potentially going back to Tarelon to find the statue of Rysar, which seems like a wise thing to be dealing with. Good stuff. How's everyone doing? Everyone have a fun time dealing with hot, burny flowers of death and sharks on the silt? There's a little shake of the head there from you, Bree.
Peter's done. So done.
Anyone else done? Anyone else done apart from Rysar, who's obviously done? Anyone else done?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh, you're feeling good despite having lost every single inch of body hair you ever owned. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. How about you, Cronquall? That was
John.
How about you, Cord? That was quite a hit.
I'm being winched back now, grappling hooked back.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, I feel great. This is wonderful.
I think he's probably a little confused at what happened, and I thought I took them all out, and then he's like,
oh, it's the ship.
Oh, and I think he kind of, at this point, he'll take in his limbs and keep his head out, and as he skips across the silt with his back, as he's getting trained.
Slowing down. It's going to drag you in slowly. You're not being dragged like a Mario Kart shell behind. No. The realization that one of you has gone missing is too important. How's Rickus doing?
Yes.
Rickus is here. You're here. Everything is like everything's going over their head most of the time when it's not
they're quite
there.
short.
Yeah. Just...
Lovely. Well, let's see what happens next time. But before we go, let's give everyone a chance to plug all the wonderful things that they do, starting this time with Mr. Toby Osmond.
Hello. You can find me on social media at statue.com, Stone Elf Media, Da Vinci. Was it Da Vinci? I can't remember. Anyway. I'm Toby Osmond. Hi, everyone. At Toby Osmond on Twitter, at Toby Osmond Actor, Facebook, Mr. T. Osmond on the gram. Am I doing anything else?
Gram? On the
Instagram.
Is that how we talk about it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
The gram.
You're 38 years old, Toby. 39. You're 39 years old.
I was going to say I'm not 38 years old. You can find me rolling a new character on D&D Beyond.
Don't roll a new character yet. There's no need for that yet. Kiana, tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, y'all can find me over on Twitter at KianaS. Best way to figure out what I'm doing. Come on the internet doing social role-playing things, whether that's streaming, writing, Shine to the Void. Generally speaking, you can find me as the co-producer of Salt Speak Games, which is a channel, runs TTRPG shows Saturday through Tuesdays, and does video game streams when we feel like it. So you can go find me over there.
Perfect. I think that kind of schedule is the way that most streamers run, and that is a good thing. A good thing. Cord, how about you? What do you want to plug today?
Oh, boy. What do I want to plug? Hi, everybody. My name's Cord, or Mythomatic. I play Cronquall. It was so much fun. I thought it was super cool being, plummeting to my potential doom as I speared that shark. That was pretty sweet. There's a lot of really cool moments today from everybody.
Yes, there were.
It was really, really, really exciting. But a lot happened. Gulag lost all of his hair. We also got Rysar out of hours, so that's pretty cool. But it was... Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to plug Journey to the Obsidian Spire. Check it out if you haven't. It's our other Dark Sun show happening as well within the same timeline and the same universe. A lot of the same people from a lot of the same characters from season 1 are also over there with some new faces as well and some great talented friends of ours. So check that out. I think they're exploring the land as we explore the Silt Sea. It's pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. Check it out. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody. And thanks for watching, everyone. And thanks. Thank you. Thanks for watching and enjoying. That's it. That's from me. That's me.
Thank you, Cord. Lovely stuff. Don?
Oh, I had a blast today. I thought this was a lot of fun. I love the burn flowers. Don't regret any decisions that I made. I thought everybody had great moments today, and we got to see a little bit more about some folks' characters that I thought was really interesting. I really enjoyed Kita's description of what happened when she went down, like the change, right? And I really enjoyed a lot of the interpersonal scenes that were kind of sandwiched between these big action pieces. I thought they were really, really cool. And I like sharks. I like silt sharks. I'm very happy that they showed up. I think they're wonderful. And I'm excited to see what happens next. I really am. But
I will say
that's it.
It's a thing that you showed me a picture of some silt sharks and went, look at this. And I went, that's ridiculous. And you went, that's correct.
Right.
And then we just didn't talk about it again. So that's really good that we managed to make it come across. Just a picture of literally sand, just this shark going, yoy, out of the water for no, like, how? It doesn't make any sense. I love it. Good, right?
Yeah. Me too. I was happy to, and I like this sort of like Mad Max in the Silt Sea kind of feel of like these
the raiders,
raiders, whatever. I don't know who they are yet, but I'm going to find out. I thought it was really cool. I loved it a lot. You can find me at Jonathan Fry on Twitter. I write games, I run games, I talk about it all there. I'm the Dungeon Master for Journey to the Obsidian Spire, our twin campaign here in Dark Sun. So you can catch that on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time. And it's not going any better for them over there. So if you like disaster, please stop by and find out what the other half of the crew is up to.
John, I think we need to agree between ourselves that the torture has to stop. I think we have to, between ourselves, just agree that it's reached a point now. Having too much fun. Me too. Yeah.
In other news, I just found on Twitter a DM, I think, posted a picture of a shark. And it's hashtag Shark Week, hashtag Dark Sun. So it's from 2016, or whatever.
There you go. It's great. Very good. Looks like I'm how they say trendy. Lovely. Bree, how you doing?
Like I said, Kita's pretty done. But
well done.
Bree. My name is Bree. I play Kita. And you can follow me on Twitter at Brita with 3 E's_. There's some countdowns happening to something really exciting that I'm working on.
Yes.
So I think after today, there's 7 days left. So be on the lookout for that.
I've seen this mysterious countdown, and I want insider gossip. What's going on?
Which will already have happened.
Which will already have happened.
Man, I wish I remembered that.
Nothing's happened yet. So,
okay.
So yeah, it's
already happened.
I love nothing. Nothing's already happened. I promise. But I love being ominous and being very vague. So this is like fueling me. But as far as Kita goes, I think this was like the first breakthrough moment for her of, oh wow, she actually does care about these people. Because I don't think like days before today, she would have went after Gulag. She would have been like, oh well, fuck him, like bye. But she was definitely following her gut this time and being as instinctual as possible. What she is now, I have no idea. I'm gonna probably have to like do some gymnasty stuff or research or something. But
we like that.
Still love the image of Kita dropping through the hole and then just the splash and sizzle and steam just immediately insta steam the rest of the puddle.
I can't wait to see the art. I can't wait to see the art. It's going to be fantastic.
There was a lot of great
picture
moments.
of Gulag defaced and ruined and the beard removed and the hair removed. I want to see it. I want to see. I've already seen a version that Don mocked up in the break while we were doing it. And internet, I know you can do better. I know you can. I have faith in you. That was terrible, Don. It's a waste of time. Anyway, I'm Chris. Hi. Chris Hislop on the Twitters. I don't use the gram because I'm a fucking adult. So yeah.
ages.
No, honestly, it's because I can't be bothered. That's the honest answer to that one. When I'm not DMing here, I DM with Adventurers Wanted. We have a Monday night
We love
show at
Instagram.
twitch.tv. Really? Do we? Do we, Cord? Do
We all love Instagram.
Is that a thing?
LFM loves Instagram.
Okay, fine.
Including me.
LFM loves Instagram. Fine, I'll take it. Okay, I'll be old by myself in the corner.
Just you, Chris.
Anyway, I DM with Adventurers Wanted. Stop interrupting my promo code. God, it's a really great company.
Tom,
we make
I've
great
just
shows.
seen the picture of me turning into a statue.
You know what? I'm not going to do my promo this week because no one wants to hear it. That's just fine. That's the way it is. Cool. I also
No, we
DM
wanna
other
hear it,
things.
but just-
Check out my Twitter. No, check out my Twitter and do all the research yourselves. No one else wants to know, apparently. Jeez. Like
It's
I'm
going to
important or
interrupt
anything.
me, Snake.
No, talk
There
about
it is. Oh, good. Yeah, it's just me. No, I hate this. No, this is too impersonal. I can't do this.
I thought this would work.
Anyway.
Okay.
Big thank you to everyone who watched us today, listened on the podcast, engaged with us on any kind of way you can engage with this show, because frankly, without every single viewer who turns on, has a listen, has an engage, we can't do what we do. So do, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, retweet, whatever, all the different things you can do with all the content on the internet. Do all of it. Tell all your friends. The more that you tell your friends, the more we can do. That is the name of the game here. Do help us be a part of more of that and be a part of what we do too. Massive thank you to our sponsors at Dark Dice, Level Up Dice, and Wormwood Gaming. Couldn't do this without you. Big, massive thank you to the LFM network, without whom none of this would be happening. And see you all next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
You